12, 2022 at 6:03 p.m. If I can have Commissioner Morales lead us in the pledge.
Okay, please stand. Place your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Jessica, if you can have roll call, please.
All right, Chair Guerrero.
Present.
Vice Chair Armstead. Commissioner Lopez.
Present.
Commissioner Sanchez.
Present.
Commissioner Quill. Here. Commissioner Flores.
Here.
Commissioner Lewis.
Present.
And Commissioner Morales.
Present.
Full house tonight.
Thank you. If you can administer the oath, please.
Yes. Okay, for anyone who wants to give public comment, and please stand and raise your right hand. Stand. Yep.
Anyone that has filled out one of these slips here.
There you go. Thank you. That's a better. No.
If anyone else wants to fill out a slip, they're over here on the side.
Okay, so stand, raise your right hand. And then do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this body will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If please so say I do. I do. Okay. All right, you may be seated.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay. Is there anyone wishing to speak on a matter that is not on the agenda? Do you? Oh. Yes.
We had a big project a few months ago. It was the BNSF Railroad expansion. Can we, maybe not at this meeting, but by the next meeting, can we get an update on that project? It was really important to us to know what's going on, and I think it's very important for the commission and the community to know the status of that project. It was very controversial, and it's very important to us to know what's going on.
If I may, that item will be going before the City Council here shortly. I believe we've scheduled the hearing May 4th. So the application involved the street vacations, if you recall, along that stretch. And that item will be going on the May 4th meeting. It also includes the certification of the environmental impact report.
Will we get a summary of that before it goes to the council as a commission, since we were very involved with it?
Let's see, when is our, I mean, we could provide you with a copy of the staff reports once it's out.
That would be good for the commission, because we were all involved.
Okay, so that normally goes out on the Friday prior to
Okay.
the council meeting, so whatever that Friday is before the 14th? Or
The 14th or
is
the
it
4th?
the 4th, I'm sorry.
The 4th? Okay, yeah, I think
Couple
that would
weeks.
be good for all
Okay.
commissioners to know what's going on. Okay.
One more item?
I got one more item. I think it would be really good for the commissioners if you would have the wards on the agenda items, on the agenda, if you can tell us what ward these projects are in. I don't see the ward. Oh, thank you, duh. I'm sorry. She's good. You guys are good. I'm sorry. I apologize. You guys are awesome on the job. Okay, thank you. I'm good. Thank you very much. Thank you.
All righty, we'll go ahead and move along. And does staff have anything? Oh, consent items are considered routine in nature and may be enacted in one motion. All public and non-public hearings will be opened at one time. Any item may be placed separately upon request of a member of the Planning Commission or member of the public. Does staff have any updates to the consent calendar?
Commissioners, we do not have any updates. Been on the consent calendar this evening. Item number 1 is for the approval of the minutes for the regular meeting that was conducted on March the 8th, 2022. They are complete as presented, and our recommendation is for their approval. Thank you.
I move to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of March 8th, 2022.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Okay, and then do I have to do individual vote on this one, or can we do a group vote?
We could do a voice vote on this one.
Okay, and then do we all approve?
Yes.
Yes? Okay.
Okay.
They're approved.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Is there anyone wishing to speak on the consent calendar items? If not, may I entertain a motion to approve the consent calendar? So we've done that, okay. Thank you. The Planning Commission, public hearing items. The Planning Commission will first hear a report from staff, and then the public hearing will be open. The applicant will have an opportunity to speak. Next, members of the public will be allowed to speak. Anyone in the audience wishing to speak must be sworn in and also fill out a request form to speak. The forms are located at the table near the door. When your name is called, come forward and speak into the microphone. Say and spell your name and give your address for the taped record. After all have spoken, the applicant will be allowed to respond. The public hearing will then be closed and the Planning Commission will begin deliberations and make a decision. All actions except general plan amendments and amendments to the Municipal Development Code are final and action unless an appeal is filed and fee paid within 15 days to the Community Development Department. If you challenge the resultant action of the Planning Commission in court, you may be limited to raising only those issues you or someone else raised at the public hearing described in this agenda, or in written correspondence delivered to the Community Development Department at or prior to the public hearing. Okay. And may we have the staff report, please?
Yes, you may. Item number 2 is conditional use permit 21-13. The proposed project is to do a conversion of an existing single-family residence for the establishment and operation of a place of public assembly. It's going to be a religious facility. Their proposed hours of operation will be from 4 a.m. to 10 p.m. Monday through Sunday. The project site is located at 1959 North Macy Street within the residential suburban zone on a project acre site comprised of 0.52 acres. Here is a locational zoning map. As you can see, the project site area is surrounded by existing single-family residential, some vacant properties within the residential suburban zone. Here we have a clearer view of an aerial map of the area of the neighborhood. It's bound by the I-210 freeway as well as the flood control channel located a little bit to the west side of the project site. Here's a view of the project property. So it's going to encompass the existing single-family residence that you see here in the picture, and that's going to be converted so that it can accommodate the public assembly use. Additionally, there is 2 additional parcels that will be improved for parking, landscaping. They're going to provide sidewalk improvement to their frontage as well as some additional required necessary improvements for their site. As mentioned before, it's going to be 3 parcels, 2 vacant. One of them has the existing single-family residence, and then 2 of the 3 parcels will serve for parking. That's going to be completely landscaped with proper setbacks, and I'll provide those images in the later slides. There's going to be 1 primary access on North Macy Street. On-site parking spaces for the type of assembly that they're going to be composing is 26 parking spaces on site with ADA accessibility also being provided. Additionally, we have, they're going to be providing a 6-foot-high decorative block wall along all interior sides and rear yards of the project site. And then they're going to be maintaining their existing 4-foot-high combination wall with wrought iron, and they're going to continue it to the whole frontage of the property and then the front setback of the property, and I will show you that in the next coming up slides. Our traffic engineer did review the project, And based on the project site, there wasn't going to be any significant impacts to the roadways or intersections based on the size of the project. So for that reason, a full analysis wasn't required at the time of the review. Here is the project site area. So the block wall, the 6-foot-high block wall is going to extend from this point all the way to the southern port of the property. Right here, they have an existing 4-foot-high combination wrought iron with block fencing, and that's going to continue to the whole frontage of the property. So essentially, it will allow for still maintaining some of that residential feel, but at the same time giving the necessary privacy and assistance in supporting and minimizing noise to the surrounding neighborhoods. This is the existing floor area of the mosque. They're going to be modernizing a lot of the existing floor area and the spaces within the location. Additionally, one of the things they're going to be doing is they're going to be modernizing the home in itself. The home is an extremely older home, so they're going to have to submit construction drawings to provide for new insulation, making sure that they meet the new building code requirements as well as the fire code requirements from now going from a home to a place of public assembly. They're going to be doing new stucco to the surrounding of the building because right now it has a combination of different types of materials. So they're going to create a uniformed property, and it's going to look a lot better within the area in itself. So still maintaining the feel of a home, but obviously it's going to be used for the use of the public assembly. So it's going to have those combination features. Here for the landscape area, they're going to be doing 10-foot landscaping along the north side, the east side, and then they're going to be doing like a 14-foot buffer here of landscaping. So they're going to be putting in new trees along the whole landscaping, new shrubs, so completely rehabbing that whole area so that way it's suited for their site and also it fits well within the neighborhood. And, oops, so sorry about that. And I don't know what I did. Sorry about that. And with that, our recommendation is that the Planning Commission adopt Resolution 2022-014, finding the project categorically exempt pursuant to Section 15303, conversion of small structures, in accordance to CEQA, and approving the project based on findings of fact and subject to the recommended conditions of approval. If you have any questions, I'm here, and the applicant is also here as well for any questions that you may have.
Well, I'll hereby open the public hearing item for number 2. Is there anyone wishing to speak on item number 2? Thank you. Okay. And I have Sadrul Ullah, the applicant. Yes, sir.
Good evening, Madam Chair and members of the Planning Commission staff. First of all, I want to thank from the bottom of my heart on behalf of our community, Elizabeth and her staff, for the hard work. Really, they really work very hard to make this project come to reality and to make our dream as a community in San Bernardino, to become reality. And I want to share with you that tonight I have all these people here. I mean, not all of them. The majority of them are in the support of the meeting. So I like it. The people who are supporting the project, please stand up. And I have been in a lot of hearings before, so I know. You can sit down. Thank you. And I did not want a lot of people speaking and taking your time because your time is very valuable. There will be a few people just to give you some idea about the amount of support that we have. And also I have the president of the organization, Sheikh Mohammed Al-Bey. He can stand up. and members of the board members from the Makki Masjid, please stand up. And we have the architect, Mr. Hambali, and we have the contractor, Mr. Khatib. So we have the whole team right here ready to start working on this project and to start working. And I want to share with you about Muslim religion, places of worship, that everywhere they go, they make improvement to the area. I can tell you that there's a lot of examples. You can read about it or visit some of the mosques in Los Angeles area and Palmdale, and I am the president of the Palmdale Mosque. We have cleaned up the area. Clean it from drugs, clean it from violence, clean it from everything. And also our religion insists on being a good neighbor. When you come to your neighbor, you always have to go and ask about who's your neighbor so you get to introduce. And at least up to 7 neighbors. And there is a prophet, peace be upon him, narration, but that angel Gabriel continued to ask him and request him to be kind to his neighbor, to the point that he thinks that he was going to inherit him. So we are very, very determined about being a good neighbor. We will take care of our neighbors. And we are here also to hear if there's any neighbor that have any question or any concern that we can answer it. And I want to tell you about our operation. Everything is going to be inside. All of the activity going to be inside. All of the speaking, the prayer inside. There is no outside speakers or amplifier. So there will be no noise. We have plenty of parking. We are building the walls, the 6-foot walls, so we can make the barrier for the noise also for our neighbor. So we are very extremely, trying very hard to be a good neighbor, and we want this for our younger generation to continue and see that this is something, because if you are over 50, you are living in bonus. I am going to be 60, so I am in the bonus of 10 years. So we have to be planning for the future, and you are planning commissioners. So we are planning for our future generation so they can know their religion and practice their religion freely in this country. And this is one of the greatest countries in the world that make you, no matter what you believe, whether you believe in God or you don't believe in God, you can practice freely without anybody bothering you. So I appreciate the freedom, I appreciate the opportunity, and I am here to answer any of your questions regarding the technical question or religious question or building question. We are here to basically to support our brothers here in San Bernardino and to make sure that you make an easy decision tonight. Thank you very much.
We will go ahead and start with Sadrul Ullah.
Good evening. Thank you for giving me the opportunity to talk in support of this project. I have used that facility. I come from the neighboring community of City of Riverside. I'm a research professor at UCR in engineering area, energy engineering. So we come for meetings with Cal State San Bernardino and other related meetings, and that facility offers us to attend important prayers, especially if it is Friday, which is our main gathering, noon prayer. It's difficult to go back to where your home community masjid is, and a local mosque helps in scheduling certain meetings and be able to perform the most important prayer of the week. Then other daily prayers are shorter and wider time range that could be arranged at other times. So I'll give you a little bit of our decision making, my family's in moving to Riverside and where we bought our home, and that happens in other communities also. I was a professor in University of Wyoming. So when we had the opportunity to move to Riverside, we looked for a location which is also accessible to a nearby masjid, so that our kids can go there, and now not kids, grandkids, and then family activities. So that way good facility where Muslims can gather for their religious activities attracts new residents in the neighborhood or in the city. Same thing with the small businesses that those who want to attend or open a shop in certain communities, they look for a nearby mosque so that they can balance the religious obligation with the commercial interest. In fact, we have in the audience somebody from Riverside who has a shop in the downtown area and uses that mosque for regular prayers. So with that, I'll thank you again for approving this project, and then the Planning Commission staff who worked hard on visiting the facility and pointing out the possibilities and future direction. Thank you again.
Thank you. Next speaker will be Cesar Saenz.
It's at that different project. My project is at in
Number five.
Yes.
It wasn't on there. I apologize.
thank you very much.
Okay. Next speaker will be Mohammed Zaman.
Good evening, Commission Chairman and everybody. Is good evening, very good evening. I'm not speaking very good at English, but saying my name is Mohammed Zaman. I live in Glendale, very close to the Los Angeles, and I'm working San Bernardino Mall. I have a very small kiosk. I do over there. I'm a religion practice Muslim, always finding the peace, and I go to the Makki Mosque. It's very close to my mall. And I do over there by prayers. I love it. And today I came here and make an appeal to you. Please provide us the approval to this project. And this Makki Masjid, all mosque is for the peace finding. So we people are going over there to pray for the Almighty Allah for peace, present and future. Thank you so much. Thank you all of them.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker would be Monul Azad.
Good evening. My name is Moinul Azad, already she pronounced. And I have a small business around Waterman. So most of the time I go to this masjid to pray. And I am very thankful to God that who created us among human beings, except all other creation we see. But what is, we all believe that we are the children of Adam, and God gifted two freedom, one freedom of expression and one freedom of religion. And I am 100%, I see that this country, only the America, USA, in all over the world, you found that they are practicing these two freedom. Even European country, other countries, I've been there. I've been in Spain. I've been in the French. I've been in Greece. I see that some sort of problem. But when I came this country long time ago, and I enjoyed this kind of freedom in this country, and we feel like it is our country. Though I have been, living in this country so many years, but still sometimes we go back, even we don't see some freedom of religion or freedom of expression in our back home. But here we have been enjoying this kind of freedom in this country. So I asking the chairman and all of you, please approve this project, and you will see we will be a very peaceful neighbors around that community. Thanks to everyone.
Thank you, sir. Next speaker will be Mareed Mujahid.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity. I just want to say that I've been a member of Makki Masjid. It has been a safety net for me for my religious practices since the 90s. and we're going to get better. We're going to get the community is going to get larger, and so forth. And it's been a betterment not only to myself personally and the Muslims in our community, but a betterment to the society in whole and to mankind. So we just ask that you use the same, that your decision making be guided by the same fairness that you use in considering all the other religious communities, many religious communities in this country, which was make this country as great as it is, because everybody, as the brother said earlier, has the freedom to practice their religion, regardless whether you agree with it or not. You know, so, and I myself, I'm a naturally born citizen here in the United States. I'm also a Vietnam disabled war veteran. And I just ask that, and of course, with the rights guaranteed us by the Constitution, the First Amendment, to allow us to practice our religion freely as well as everyone else. Thank you.
Is there anyone else wishing to speak on item number 2? Oh, one more. Okay, next speaker will be Mohammed Ahara.
Good evening. My name is Mohammed Ahara. I've been in this country for almost 51 years. I'm retired 2008. I did a lot of charity work, including to Masjid Makki, to the veteran, Marsh Air Force. Right now, I mainly do a lot of volunteer work to give away, and this masjid is going to be one of the nicest masjid I've been around. In Riverside, I've been in Coachella Masjid, I've been all over, and definitely from the bottom of my heart, I know the approval of this masjid is going to make a big difference, not only look-wise, but in performance-wise. Thank you.
Okay, is there anyone else that would like to speak on item number 2? No? Okay. So if not, I hereby close the... Oh, yes. If you could state your name, please.
My name is Janar Wahid. I'm one of the founders of an organization called Sahaba Initiative. We created a food pantry off 5th Street. We designed community service. We've been engaged in the community for years, and this is one of the masjids that we attend as well. Also a part of another organization called ICUC in the community. We have been part of bringing community awareness to all the religions. So we've been doing partnerships, and we would like to also say, I would like to also say thank you for giving us the opportunity to present to you as well, and hopefully you'll make a good decision and let us build our mosque there. Thank you.
Okay.
So I don't want to miss this opportunity. My name is Councilmember Kimberly Calvin, and I know this gentleman right here very well in the Sahaba Initiative. I just met a few of the other gentlemen this evening. But what I do want to say is that the Sahaba Initiative and these Muslim brothers and sisters in our community, they have brought so many welcome services and resources to the community. I can't even explain. Throughout the COVID, they relentlessly gave back to the community the entire time, providing food, if not weekly, bi-weekly to the community. And these are the type of community members that we want to support, and it is the kind of community members that we want to welcome. And it is not, you do not have to be a Muslim in order to receive the services. They are the type of community members that give to whoever is in need, and I respect that. And I place value on those type of community members, and so I welcome them. This is a project that is in Ward 6, where I am the council member, and so I welcome them, and they're wanting to improve the community. And one thing for sure, Brother Gennaro, when they state that they come to make the community better, it is exactly what they do. So I can give that testimony tonight, and so I thank you for your consideration for this item.
All right, anyone else?
Yes, I actually do have a comment.
We'll go ahead and start with our...
Before that, Chair, would you like to ask the applicant if he has any, would like to make any responses to any of the public comments given?
Oh, okay. Actually, we have one more person.
So after this gentleman goes, then you can ask the applicant.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Good afternoon. My name is Muhammad Khan, and I've been part of the Mekki community for over 10 years. And as Assembly Member, Council Member Kimberly, as she mentioned, there's a lot of good stuff that Mekki Masjid had done. Especially during COVID, I remember they were giving out boxes, food boxes, especially from USDA. They gave out over 1,000, I remember, chicken, food boxes, and even right now they have initiatives such as cooked food, dinners. And they give these out not only to the community, but also the neighbors and everybody else, including homeless folks. So I've seen the impact that Mekki Masjid has firsthand. And I do apologize, I've been walking so much that it's a little out of breath. But the point is, I'm a first-hand person who's experienced this. When I used to go to college, I remember Mekki Masjid helped me with food insecurities and also additionally spiritual help. So Mekki Masjid plays a big role in our community, and I am fully supportive of their initiative. Thank you.
Yeah, good evening. My name is Dr. Mustafa Kuku. You can call me a Muslim activist in this area for 40 years. I was with the central body of the Islamic Society of North America all over the country. And I was the director of Islamic Center of Riverside for 17 years, and I'm working as freelance for the Muslims all over there. My brothers here in this area are doing a great job in San Bernardino. They're helping so many people, Muslims and non-Muslims alike. They don't discriminate against anyone, They have been expanding. I've been a real witness to their growth. They've been started as a small group, and now with the grace of the Lord, they have expanded, and they have grown in numbers, actually. The place is getting to be smaller for the community, so they need a place where they can be able to use it as a hub to bring all the needy people, all of them, Muslims and non-Muslims alike, so that there be help in that place. They have been doing this for a long time. They are doing a lot of things for help the Muslims in doing their, establishing their marriage services and other services and different services, and also the religious services that has been held over there. But more important is that they are doing so much of community type work, in the area, and I said they're spreading, they're fanning out. They're doing everything that they can to help everyone in the area. That's why I see it is very important for your honorable group to allow them that so that they can continue their noble mission in this area. When I came in this area, we had only one place in Riverside that served the Muslims. But now, with the grace of the Lord, we have a number of them, and we need your help so that these brothers can get your support to continue helping and serving the community. And when I say the community, I mean the community of San Bernardino, a Muslim, a Christian, a Jew, a Hindu, a Buddhist, and everyone. That's what we do here We're doing it in Riverside, we're doing it in San Bernardino, we're doing it in Redlands, we're doing it in the Inland Empire overall with our organization and with our mosques and Islamic Center. So it's very important for you to make this decision to help them tonight. Okay? Thank you very much for giving me the opportunity. Thank you.
All right. Does the applicant have anything else to add or comment? Okay. Okay. Okay, so we'll go ahead and start with the commissioner comments. I'll go ahead and start. Anything? Do you have any comments? No?
Well, the only question that I have is the block wall that circles the whole of the perimeter. Are there houses that live on the other side of the block houses on any of those?
Thank you. Thank you, Albert. So this is the project site. So this is where the single-family residence is, and then you have these two vacant parcels. So right here to the north, there isn't any single-family residence. There is a residence right here. So we're going to be doing the block wall with the buffering, and then with the building construction, that's going to help assist with mitigating some of that noise to this neighbor. The neighbor did come and speak with me because he had some concerns, and I addressed his concerns, so he was pleased with the improvements that we're going to be doing. I did let him know if he wanted to come and speak in person, he was more than welcome to. And then we do have some residences here and then across the area. So the neighbor here was the one that just came mainly because his concern was the noise and the fencing perimeters, and he had those kinds of questions and parking on site. So I was able to address those questions for him.
On the backside, there are no residents there?
No, this is the residence is right here to the frontage of this street, and then the majority of their property is vacant, which abuts this residence right here.
Okay. And the residents across the street, they had no concerns?
They did not bring any of their concerns to me. Correct.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, I first want to thank you, Elizabeth, and to this organization for bringing this project. I think it'll be a great improvement in the area, a great addition to the community. Much like Commissioner Lopez and everything, I wanted to say thank you for providing the decorative wall around the entire premises, and then the wrought iron fence at the front. Will there be someone residing on the premises at all times, or is it just from
I believe they will have some security. I'm not sure. I don't believe anybody will stay on site, but they will have security. They will have. Are you able to? Yes, right here. You can go right here. That's okay. Yeah, you can share. I'm a good sharer.
Yes, we will have security on the property, especially when we have events like special events. Like the month of Ramadan is a special month. Like we have people bring their food and share the breakfast every night, and sometimes when you have a larger number, you always worry about the security of the people. So we bring people to secure it, and we hire sometimes people from the community or security company to secure the event.
Perfect. I know that in your letter and everything, you guys said that there were going to be security cameras. I don't think that was actually one of the conditions of approval. Am I wrong?
We have now.
Oh, yes? Oh,
and we will have more.
Oh, yeah. Okay. I just wanted to make sure it was part of the conditions of approval. I didn't see it when I was looking through the packet.
We'll check on that, and if it's not in there, we'll include it.
Perfect. Thank you, Albert. And then will there be food sold on the premises? I know that you guys have a dining area.
I want to clarify the food part. The food part that they were distributing during the pandemic, they were bringing from food banks and distributing to the. There's no cooking, no. We don't have a kitchen to cook. Okay, so everything was coming ready, and even the people when they come in to eat, they bring their food, is ready to eat, and you guys are all invited tonight. We have a big, huge dinner tonight, and very delicious too. So after this, and we are fasting, so that's going to be double whammy for us. So there is no cooking, no processing of food. All the food comes in ready to eat, and you just have to wash the dishes, of course.
Perfect.
Can I add a little bit regarding the food bank? The food bank, it's from Mary ICNA or from Feed in America. So that is in case you want to know, it comes a pre-packaged.
It's all packaged.
Perfect. And then, honestly, I just want to thank staff and everything for including, the fire measures because, all these kind of older houses obviously don't have any of that thing.
It's going to look like a brand new.
Yes, so it'll be brand new. So it'll look great and it'll be, protected in case of anything.
Yes.
So I just want to say it's a great project and congratulations.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Yes, it does look like a great project and an improvement to the area.
Mr. Albay, he's the president. He wants to say something. He's dying to say something.
I want to say Assalamu alaikum was mean in Arabic language, peace be upon everybody here. Our nation is peaceful. We are long time in this area, in San Bernardino, Riverside, and all these people, some of like my son and friend and teacher. Everybody's talking about the food, I realize. But nobody's talking about the knowledge. We do a lot of knowledge, a lot of concentrate about the communication with God. We care about the youth people. You're going to start hanging around and you smoke. I give him many lecture about stay away from the bad. Smoking first and second, you will be deeply danger. We try to correct the way for everybody. We corrected the communication between husband and wife. If you're fighting, I don't have to go and tell divorce. We can fix it. When you pray, you teach him how you concentrate with the God. So number one, knowledge. Number two, concern about the whole community. The people, inmate, when you go out from the jail, you come to us. I take care of him. I give him hotel. You cannot go. I support him until you find job and you find his own place. We do a lot of things. I don't have to explain because the time is very tiny and everybody here fasting. No food, no drink since the morning at 5 o'clock. So we have beautiful food in our masjid. We ordered. If you're welcome to join us, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Yeah, they're going to come,
right? Welcome anytime, inshallah. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have any questions?
Yeah, I'll be here for any other question from other commissioners.
Yes, thank you. Like I said, it looks like a nice project. I do have a few questions.
Yes.
Does the mosque exist there now?
It's been existing as a house.
Okay.
And people just pray casually. So we're trying to legalize it, make it official, and make it, to the public, this is the place of worship. So when you Google Makki Masjid, it will be place of worship, not a house.
Okay. So the facility that we see being remodeled is the house. That's going to be the mosque.
Yes.
Okay. You're using that facility as a mosque now, and the time limit that they put on the operating hours to 10 p.m., is that normal? What goes on until 10 p.m.?
Let me explain that too. See, we pray 5 times a day, but we don't pray the whole. Our prayer takes 10 to 15 minutes. So they come in like 4 o'clock in the morning or 5 o'clock in the morning. They pray for 15 minutes, maximum half an hour to an hour. They close and go home. Then they come back in the 12 o'clock. They pray another prayer, and then another half an hour to an hour. They go home. And the same thing all day long, and then the afternoon around 4 o'clock, and then 6 o'clock, and then 8 o'clock. This is all day long. Friday is the main assembly. Usually it's 1 o'clock. We pray for, usually it lasts about 45 minutes, and this is the main assembly. It's like Sunday for a Christian or Saturday for the Jewish religion. And this is the main event that we have. Does that answer you?
Okay, yes, it does. Thank you. This question perhaps is probably for staff. Is the zoning proper for this type of use in that area? It is? Okay. Thank you. Another question. You don't anticipate renting out this facility when you're not using it for prayer. You don't intend to use it for any other use other than your services, right? Correct?
Absolutely. We only use it for the service and also education on Sunday. Sunday school, we have children they bring to the school. It's called a program, not a school. A school for me is like when you attend Monday through Friday from 8 o'clock to 3 o'clock. So let's just Sunday school program usually lasts about 3 hours. And it's like Bible study at the church.
Okay. Lastly, because I'm not familiar with your religion too much, are there going to be any types of bells or
bells
or any type of
No,
noise?
we don't use. Actually, most of the music instrument is not allowed in our religion. So
okay.
most of the music is not allowed. So you don't have to worry about that part.
Okay. Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Well, I want to say just thank you. It's lovely seeing the diversity of our community come together today. I've been touched by my heart seeing everybody come and speak for this community, and wishing you all a blessed Ramadan. And it's a lovely addition to the community. My good friend in high school is Muslim and had to travel all the way to Riverside for her to practice her religion. So it's exciting to see this be in San Bernardino. So thank you.
We are a very diverse community. That's why you will find a Muslim who is black, Muslim who is white, Muslim who is Hispanic, Muslim who is Irish, Muslim who is Japanese, Chinese, any religion, any background, it doesn't matter. It's like melting pot in one religion.
Well, I can see just by your presence here that you're a very strong community.
Yes,
So
yes.
that's wonderful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good afternoon. Thank you. I want to echo that as the other commissioners did. We like this friendly, all-inclusive type of neighbors in San Bernardino. So that's a win-win. I heard one gentleman ask us to process the same consideration that we would for any other project. I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to ask you a few questions, nothing over the top, just a few.
I'll give you all the answers I have.
Oh, well, that's probably sufficient. And I think that your architect there, Mr. Humbly, is it?
Yes, he's here.
Has there been any consideration for solar as you expand this building? Because it's going to be larger than what it is now, the actual structural part of this, yes?
Yes. In the future, we have plans to put solar, and actually we are a big fan of solar. In fact, I myself, I have a solar in my house for my electricity, solar for my swimming pool. I have 2 Tesla that's also electric. So we are believing in very strong in energy and saving the earth and being very energy clean.
Well, and in considering your operating hours, I think that, to me, it sounds like it would be actually a benefit to have solar
panels
introduced as you expand here.
Absolutely.
And I would like to know what your considerations with that. I know that you say going forward it would be.
At this time, we have, in the plans we have right now, there is no, solar plans. But believe me, every mosque in the Southern California are thinking about it, because when they get their electric bill every month, they start crying. So
yes.
So it is very important. Yeah, we have some company offering us, and we have some of the Muslim community members who work in the solar business. So we will be looking into that. But at this particular moment, we don't have anything, in the plan.
Well, I would like you to consider that at this particular moment, if you would, and if we could.
If I may, we cannot require applicants
We're not making a requirement.
bid, just for clarification.
We're
If
not
they're
making
willing, will, that's fine.
But actually, I like your idea. I love your idea because that's a good idea.
Yeah, it's not a requirement. It's just, I'm just trying to see if in order to bring about the building, the property that you have in your mind, there is going to be a lot of construction going on. There's got to be this. Let me ask you this. In addition to that, this 26 parking spaces that already exist, or is that something that's coming?
Yeah, it's not existing right now. It will be coming. Yes,
and that will be
we added
like
3 lots.
asphalt.
Yes, we're going to have the parking lot with the asphalt and landscaping and everything.
And the actual mosque is going to expand in size.
Yeah, we have addition. You can look at the plan. You can see that's the existing, and the one to the smaller one is the addition.
And then this whole site right here is the parking area.
Right. Okay. So yeah, again.
And also, can I just bring another point?
Sure.
The parking?
Sure.
The land is pretty flat.
Yes.
So the grading part, which is very, very minimal, that is going to create the dust that you're concerned about. So it's very, very minimal, invasive, and we will be working with, dust control and all this management and notify the quality. Air quality control district or whatever, because with every construction project, you have to post about, if you have any question, you can complain to the quality district, air quality district. Yeah. We're very familiar with all this process.
Okay, so with that being said, again, I would think that this would actually be a great time to incorporate solar into it. It's not a requirement, but would be a great idea.
I want to mention something. Everything is going to be LED lighting for the parking lot, for the building, and there is no heavy usage for power except the lighting. So that's going to be minimized as much as possible at this time.
Okay.
Plus, it's in the energy requirement that you have to designate solar for the future. It's part of the requirement.
Title 24.
Yes. So there will be a designation for that. Yes.
All right. Thank you. Would there be any electric vehicle charging stations implemented here on your facility?
Might be a good idea.
It's not a bad idea. My car is almost empty. Yeah, I think that would be a good idea if there is a lot of need, because I think a lot of the members of the community, because I called Edison, by the way, to install a station in our mosque in Palmdale. But in order for you to do that, it has to be an open area. And security-wise, it's not a good idea for us to do that, because I cannot make the mosque open and then people will come in, and that is not, you will not even like it for us, do it? Right. It has to be an open area for people to come in and charge you freely without anything. But it's a good idea for a commercial location, like a city or a county or library. But for an enclosed area like a mosque, it's not a good idea for security purpose.
But it could be something to be considered for future, so we might plan for something like that, for future addition or something.
Perhaps maybe even have, because there's a certain amount of infrastructure, electrical infrastructure that has to take place in order to set that up. Is that something you would consider putting in the plans?
Yeah, we can have this in our consideration when we.
Very good.
We would have to, upgrade the whole panel. It has to go to 3-phase, at least minimum 400 volt, 400 amps, and that will, require additional. Usually, that's a factory style but we got to look into it and see if we can accommodate that request.
Yeah. All right. And I got one more question. Your landscaping on this property is any of that artificial turf? Is any of that, or is we got to rely on?
Yeah, we have a small turf area, and I think we'd like it to be artificial, so we can minimize the consumption. Yes.
Excellent. That's in the plans? I didn't see that in the letter.
Yeah, so this is their conceptual landscaping plan, but as part of their formal submittal, that's something that we can definitely look into. We can look into making them add a little, some of that turf information in there in detail, definitely. We do, a lot of the planting that they have to do has to be drought tolerant. It has to meet current state requirements to minimize the usage of water. And I think a lot of commercial and developments, residential developments, that's what they aim, is just to reduce water consumption. So that's something that is taken into account. A lot of the planting, to include the trees that are being used, are drought-tolerant planting. And when they do their formal submittal for the landscaping, they have to account for how much water is being consumed. And if it doesn't meet certain standards, then at that point, the person who reviews the plans will kick it back and have them make modifications as required.
I want to add something.
Yes.
Yes.
We can also minimize the turf areas. So we're going to go with the zero landscape, with the hardscape designs. And we have experience also with the other mosque where they use also the turf, the artificial turf. It's not just for the water consumption, it's also for maintenance. So it's a benefit for both sides. Yes.
Actually, I just want to tell you that our team here has helped so far about 6 mosques. So this is not our first, mosque we're going to be, and we are using the same principle to help out, basically to the environmental and the water conservative and all of this. So we are very conscious about all of this.
Okay. All right, thank you. That's all I have.
I just wanted to comment really quickly to echo everybody else. Thank you for bringing this to the city, and I definitely commend all of your community service, and I look forward to seeing what else you can offer to the city. So thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we'll go ahead and close our public. Oh.
I have one last question.
Yes.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but did I hear you say that you do distribution of food?
We did that during COVID. Right now, we're not doing any
Okay.
distribution.
Okay.
But
Then
when we do, it is packaged food ready to go.
Okay. Does it ever create any traffic outside of your facility, like a long line of people waiting to get in to access the food or anything like that, that would disrupt the neighborhood? No?
Actually,
Okay.
everybody was happy to get the food.
Okay.
Yeah, they were very happy. That answer your question? Okay.
Thank you. We'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and may I entertain a motion?
Before we do that,
Commissioners,
Chair,
before we,
Oliver wants to address some of the conditions that are going to be added.
Okay, thank you.
if I may, condition number 8 of your resolution, it gives the operation hours. It currently says between 8 a.m. to 10 p.m. We want to make that revision and make it 4 a.m. so it's consistent with the presentation. Also, we want to add the condition regarding the security cameras on site.
Thank you, Oliver.
You're welcome.
All right. Anything else? We'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and may I entertain a motion?
I make a motion that we accept the conditions as amended and approve this project.
I'll second.
Okay.
We have to get a
We'll go
second.
ahead and, we did have a second. We'll go ahead and take the vote.
Okay. Chair Guerrero, how do you vote?
Aye.
And then Vice Chair Armstead? Commissioner Lopez?
Approved.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Commissioner Quill?
Yes.
Commissioner Flores?
Yes.
And Commissioner Lewis? Excuse me.
Yes.
And then Commissioner Morales?
Yes.
Right. It's approved.
All right, so no opposed. Okay, so no opposed. Okay. Move on to item number 3, staff report, please. Thank you. Thank you. I know. Even the little ones.
No, I want to give you the check with CEQA.
You give it to her tomorrow. You can do it tomorrow.
Huh? Can I do it right now?
You could do it.
Save ourselves a trip?
Do you have it already?
Yeah.
It's made already?
I'll make it very quick. Be able to fish and game?
I'm not sure.
Take it to the county of San Bernardino, right?
Yes.
Yes, county of San Bernardino.
Clerk of the board.
Clerk of the board.
Clerk of the board.
I'll hold on to it.
I should wait, right? All right, thank you. We'll go ahead and proceed on to item number 3. Staff
Okay.
report, please.
Okay, thank you. Item number 3 is development permit type D 20-08 and subdivision 20-06 for tentative track map 20376. The proposed project will consist of a subdivision. It would subdivide a parcel to allow for the development and establishment of 9-unit townhomes. The project site is located on the northwest corner of East Pacific Street and North Garden Drive within the residential medium zone. The project site area is approximately 0.77 acres. Here we have the location zoning area of the project site. To the north, we have some, it's residential medium. We have some multifamily type of development as well. And then to the south, we have the County of San Bernardino area. Their zone there is residential as well. And they have single-family development. To the west of that, we have the public facilities. That's a public high school. And then to right here, this is the public high school, Pacific High School. Here we have a single-family development, some multifamily. We have an existing religious facility, and then we also have an elementary school. Here to the south, this is where we have the County of San Bernardino residentially zoned property within the county, and they have single-family development. Here we have the aerial map. As you can see, here's the high school. Paris Hill Park is on the other side of the hill. We have some other single-family development. This is the parcel lot, and it's within a completely engulfed like residential neighborhood with high school, elementary school, some church facilities, and as well some residential. And it's really close to the park as well. Here's the project site area. This is looking at the property from the northwest corner of East Pacific Street and North Garden Street. It is a remnant vacant lot. It's the last lot within that corner. So getting this development in will definitely complete that area. As mentioned before, it's one vacant parcel. They're going to subdivide it into 9-unit townhome lots for the development of the 9 townhomes. And then they're going to have one parcel that will be common space. It would have on-site access for the landscape areas. They are proposing 2 model types with 2 floor layouts. There's going to be access to the sites, and I will show you that in the next couple of slides. One access, there's going to be a main driveway on East Pacific Street that will access 6 of the townhome units. And then there's going to be 3 independent driveways on North Garden Drive that will have independent access to 3 townhome units. Each individual townhome will have their own 2-car garage. And as well, they are providing 8 additional guest parking spaces on site for when they have visitors. They are going to be proposing a 6-foot-high decorative block wall along all the interior side and rear yard areas of the property to have additional buffering. In review of the traffic engineer determined that since there was going to be less than 50 trips in the AM and PM peaks, then there was not going to be any significant impacts with this development on the surrounding roadways. So he didn't require any further analysis on that point. Here's the project site area. So as you see here on Pacific, we have the main access. This is the main drive aisle that's going to provide access to 6 of the townhome units. And they're all going to be comprised of different model types that are reflective of each other. And I will show you those model types in the next upcoming slides. And then here on Garden, they're going to have individual driveways that will access the parking areas. The 8 guest parking is spread out throughout the whole development, so that way everybody is able to have a guest and nobody's just in one area, and it sort of minimizes some of the parking on the street along Pacific and Garden as well. This is the floor. This is the floor for Model A and B. As you can see, it's going to be a 2-story townhome development, and they're going to have your 2-car garage with living areas, bedrooms, master bedroom. So it's going to be it's going to have the feel of a single-family development. This is the floor plan for Model A. It's a mirror, so that way they give us 2 floor areas, mirrors of each other, so they don't look all the same, and they have their own feel. Here's the elevation plan. So Model A, this is going to be more of like a Spanish-style modern take. It's going to have your hip roof. They're going to have some accent features that are going to modernize the project area and give it a feel for the area, so it doesn't look, the same in comparison to the other homes. And then they do have a Model B. This one is more of has a gable roof, craftsman style kind of feel, veneer finishing at the tower, and they're also going to have different embellishments to kind of separate them from each other. For the proposed landscaping, they're proposing to have landscaping throughout the site. They're going to have landscaping in the common area. They're going to have a common outdoor area. So they're going to have some turf. They're going to have trees as well throughout the whole site, rear yards of the property, the front yard of the properties, the setbacks. So it's going to be completely fully landscaped. So it's going to give the residents feel that they have their own independent dwelling, even though they're part of a big townhome development. And with that, The staff recommends that the Planning Commission adopt resolution number 2022-014, finding the project categorically exempt pursuant to section 15332 for infill development of CEQA, and approving the project based on findings of fact and subject to the recommended conditions of approval. If you have any questions, I'm here to answer questions, and the applicant, the owner of the project, is also here as well.
We will go ahead and open up the public hearing for item number 3. Is there anyone wishing to speak on item number 3? No cards? Okay. We'll go ahead and start with.
Okay. I have one question. In the common areas, is it just landscaping, or isn't there a playground and so forth? How many units and bedrooms for each townhome? Is it 2 or 3?
It's going to be, they're going to vary between 3 to 4. So they're going to have
4 bedrooms.
Yeah, bedrooms. Yeah, bedrooms. They're going to have their master bedroom, and then they're going to have three bedrooms here at the top.
So in the common areas, there's no playground or anything like that?
It's just going to be outdoor, like living picnic areas. There's not going to be a playground being provided.
There should be.
There's going to be a picnic area. I have
affordable housing. There should be for townhomes with families.
If are you able to speak on that, Roger? It is not an affordable.
Hi, I'm Roger Chi. I'm the owner of the project. I don't believe the playground was. I don't know it was required to have a playground on such development.
Yeah, so it's not an affordable housing project. It's a regular townhome development. So usually when we have our townhome developments, that's not a requirement that we have for them to provide common areas to that extent. Usually that's something that's required when it's considered more of a multifamily type of development.
If I may add to that, I'm sorry, Elizabeth.
Sorry.
First of all, our code does not differentiate on the affordability of housing projects. So we don't have, our code does not say if you're affordable housing or apartment building, you have to have X, or if you're non-affordable or whatever the case is. So our development code does not differentiate there. Also, on the amenities, the threshold is 10. And so normally, you'll see multifamily projects or residential projects. If you have more than 10 units, then you need to provide one amenity. It could be a recreation room. It could be a local picnic area or those kinds of things. As the number of units increase, then you're required to put in a pool or a recreation room or something like that. So the number of units determines how many features or amenities that you use. This is below that threshold, so our code does not require that they have a park feature or that kind of a thing. That would be voluntary on the applicant's perspective.
Okay. Well, thank you for bringing this project. It actually looks quite beautiful. I'm happy to see that there's going to be street rehabilitation. I saw it on both Pacific and Garden. I had a quick question about the walls. So it's going to be split face between each home and then the perimeter, correct? Wonderful. For the decorative wall that's going to be kind of on the side, facing more the school, is there going to be greenery as well? That way, you know.
We can definitely put that in as a condition of approval, because they still would have to submit their formal submittal for the landscaping. So that's something that I could add it in as a condition of approval, that they add some kind of greenery there on the side of the walls. So we can definitely have that added and have it reviewed in the landscaping proposal.
Perfect. Would the applicant be amenable to that? Adding just a little greenery. That way, you know, we have quite a few residents that like drawing on walls. Sure. So we want to make sure it's kept nice and beautiful.
Clarification, where do you want that?
Just at least on the outside, kind of that's facing.
Facing the area
On the
that's.
street side?
Mhm, on the street
Okay.
side.
On the street side, that's facing the school area. Okay.
And I mean, I saw that from the plans and everything, 24 box. Is there a possibility, because I did look at images and everything, is that the most mature tree that we have to be able to be put into the homes, or is that?
So they have the 24, and then they do have, let me just
Do
really
they have
quick.
a few more mature trees as well? That way.
They
it'll
have the
blend in.
24-inch box, but we can definitely, again, as part of the landscaping proposal, ask for a larger box.
That'd be
Okay.
wonderful, just because we do have, established homes, so that way it's not all just baby trees.
Baby trees. No, we can definitely incorporate that as part of the conditions of approval to add not only the additional greenery, but also the additional size requirement. Yes.
Wonderful, yeah, at least a little variety, that way, that can actually be there. When I was looking at also the design, I mean, this is a perfect
Oh,
image.
let me-
Oh, no, this is great, actually. Exiting onto Pacific, with the high school right there, is there going to be a stop sign just that way,
I believe there's currently a stop sign here on Garden area, on Garden.
Okay.
I don't believe there is not. I drove by there the other day. There isn't here on Pacific, but there is one on Garden, exiting Garden. I believe, let me pull up the aerial. I took an image here. This is the stop sign.
Okay. Perfect.
And it's
I just
on
wanted
that
to make
corner.
Sure that they would have access to get out without,
Yes, and that's one of the concerns we had in terms of the driveways, making sure that there's enough backup for the vehicles, so that way they're not imposing onto the sidewalk. That's going to be improved, and there's enough visibility for any outgoing or ingoing cars.
Perfect. Okay. I just wanted to make sure. I didn't know if a stop sign was necessary or not. And then the last question I had, as these are going to be 2 stories, I was looking, I mean, the neighbors kind of behind, they seem to be 1 story. So I just wanted to thank you for putting in that wall, because we definitely don't want people just looking over. So that little picnic area gives a great buffer, I think.
Yeah, and
to
that's.
make sure that you're not.
Thank
looking
you.
into-
That's one thing that when we were looking at the proposal, that we made sure that there was that setback requirement, and that they added that additional landscaping, picnic, outdoor area, and they added that additional wall for that reason.
Yes, I think that would be great, because, yeah, we definitely don't want people just looking over and seeing someone else's home.
No,
So-
definitely not.
So, yeah, I think the project looks great. It'll be definitely an addition that's necessary, because everything else is filled in, and it looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Thanks for bringing up the wall issue. Do I understand these will be individual separated parcels? You're going to separate them as individual parcels?
Yes.
And sell them as individual homes?
Correct.
Will there be an HOA
Yes.
to help control the,
Yes.
okay. Okay, and I was concerned about the traffic coming out on, I guess that's Pacific Avenue. I know it gets quite crowded in there during school times and so on. And I would probably suggest, if you think about it, you might want to put a right-hand turn only for cars exiting. They do have quite a few accidents in that area.
Okay.
But it looks like a nice project.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Could you share a little bit more about any sustainability requirements, thinking about electrification, solar?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, so definitely, as part of the building code requirements, in terms of the construction for the project, when it comes to any residential type of development, our building and safety division requires that all the properties, all new construction comply with the current 2019 building codes. Energy efficiency, which is inclusive of Title 24, that all has to be incorporated in the construction of the insulation. That's another energy efficiency tool that is used to minimize heat. So that will all be incorporated, not only in the construction drawings, but any kind of Title 24 that is going to be required when they submit for the development of the site.
And what used to exist on this site? Was it just
It was just
vacant?
vacant, yes.
Oh, that's
It's just been vacant, so completing this parcel within that area, I would complete that whole area, because I believe in reviewing the whole area, that was the most, that was the remnant of that neighborhood.
Thank you. Those were my questions.
You said is this considered affordable housing, or what's the price?
No, it's not affordable.
It's not considered affordable.
affordable housing.
Oh,
no.
okay. Okay, just wanted to ask that. You answered the solar part.
Good afternoon. Indeed, this is a welcome project. It's going to provide us with some more housing, which we seem to be quite short of these days. I just have a few questions. Just running off. Are these 8-foot ceilings or 10? Just out of curiosity.
I don't know, actually. I have to check.
It does look like 8, but if it's 10, that's going to put them up about 30 feet. Okay. And then finally, finally, let me ask you this. The wall and that is on the west side of the property, which separates Pacific High from the property line. How far does that wall set in from the property line? Because I was out there today and I noticed there is a driveway right there. I'm telling you, right at the property line. So now I'm a little concerned about Commissioner Sanchez's concept of having some greenery or some landscaping on that side, because there isn't, if that wall is going to sit on the property line, there isn't any room to do anything on the other side.
So they're able to put it within their property line?
Yes.
So that is a feasibility. And ultimately, the reason we set it that way is because we still wanted that 10-foot buffer on the side. So if they were to push the wall even more internally, it will eat into that 10-foot separation buffer that they have. So right here, we currently have a 10-foot buffer area between the homes and the property line. So we have this landscaping buffer, and then we have the wall, and then the school's right here. If they were to push the wall even more into their property, it will eat into that buffer. So the reason we always have those landscape buffers is for that reason of minimizing noise, especially with the 2 stories, no one looking onto the other side. Because although we have the 6-foot wall, we still have a 2-story, which can look into the school. And I know a lot of parents may be concerned about privacy at that point. So that's the reason. So it's not on the property line, but it's within their property line. So that's it, yeah.
So for clarification, Elizabeth,
Yes.
is that wall on the property line or is it set back from the property line?
It's set back from the property line. Correct. So it's not right on the property line. It's within the property line.
So there's a gap between the property line and the wall?
It's going to be right abutting it.
So it's, for all intent purposes, it's on the property line?
It's on
Correct.
the property line.
Sorry. Yes,
So
for all
there's-
intent and purposes.
So there's
yes.
there's not a planter on the outside of the wall?
There is not.
Okay. So is the preference of the commission for the wall to be pushed in a foot or two so that some vines or something could be planted along that other side, irrigation on the back side? So as Elizabeth indicated, so that would reduce the landscape strip between the wall and the edge of the houses. That's there. I'm not sure what that dimension is. But
10 feet.
It's 10 feet. So if the commission is inclined to reduce that distance between the house and the wall in order to provide a landscape, strip, a foot or so they could put the vines there and a irrigation system, if that's the desire of the commission.
Yeah, I wasn't, Oliver, thank you for that. I was not suggesting that we reduce that 10-foot buffer. Because looking at the way this is set up, that's all the backyard they're going to have.
Yes.
So my concern was if that wall that separates the property from the school, is it, and you might have to help me with this, Albert and Oliver, is it feasible to make that wall a little taller? Because that's all you're going to have separating you from Pacific High School. That is a roadway right there where that wall sits. There is a pretty significant sized backflow system that runs right down there. I don't even know how you would, well, that would be engineering stuff, but you got to put a footing on that wall. I don't know that, I'm just concerned that if as Commissioner Sanchez had stated, yeah, with Pacific, it's going to be some issues with graffiti there. It's almost a guarantee. Not so much on the property side, but on the high school side. We need to have, we need to kind of foresee how we're going to deal with that. And if there is, if there is no other way, the vines, I get it, they'll grow on the wall, they'll cover the wall. Problem is that that takes time and it requires maintenance, which, or some sort of irrigation or something, and I don't know that you would have just free access to go on the school's property to do all of this. Yes.
If I may, Elizabeth, what is the distance? You see the gray shaded driveway between the three buildings on each side?
Yes, this right here.
No, the dark gray.
This right here.
Yes. What's the width there?
The width there.
That's the length. Width is the other way.
Oh, this way?
Yes.
The width, I believe, is about 36. I believe that's the width.
I believe that's wider than what our code and what our fire code. The fire department would require at least 30 feet, and so as a possibility, if we shrink the width of that driveway, basically by moving those three houses that are on the left-hand side, push those to the right, away from the school, try to keep that 10-foot distance between the house and the wall, slide everything over, and then now you have a remainder distance. Does that make sense?
Now, with that wall and you having an HOA, it would be the responsibility of the HOA to maintain the wall. So that could be something that, they'll be responsible for graffiti removal, or if there were, climbing vines or anything like that, any kind of landscaping, they'll be responsible for that as well. You'll have homeowners on site, so they'll be pretty quick to call the management company to have graffiti removed and not let it sit for days and have to rely on city services. So maybe not having to move the wall.
One of the things, and I know this may not address it long-term, is, they do coding to prevent graffiti from staying onto walls. So that could be something that can be added as a condition as well, to where they add some kind of treatment to minimize that. I know in the long term it may not solve all the issues, but I think in having the HOA, making sure that because I'm confident that anybody purchasing a home there wouldn't want to see graffiti. That's one thing that they're going to want to address, and especially there right next to the school. I don't think the school would want to see that constantly. So that could be also incorporated if the owner agrees to that.
Yeah, and that's also, we need to use everything that we have to try and keep that type of stuff from occurring. And then ultimately, even if we have an HOA there, and I'm just trying to throw some stuff out there to consider. Even if you have an HOA there and they get a report from the school that says, oh, well, there's graffiti facing our drive entry or whatever, is there... I like Oliver's idea, except if we got to maintain this fence, how do we go in partnership with this? Do we have the good neighbor policy with the school, and we can just go on their property
That's
at
something
any time?
that it's going to be privately owned property, but that's something maybe that once they have the established HOA, and being again a good neighbor, reaching out to the school, they're gonna reach out to the school. Ultimately, their goal is to make sure that they're able to sell the properties and they're able to keep them up. So I think, in working, they'll end up working with the school, privately, and making sure that it is maintained.
Okay, all right, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
The only quick question I had was in regards to the guest parking. Is that parking allotted for each home, or is that just like a first come, first serve, for visitors?
That's first come, first serve from visitors. And the way that in working with the property owner and the applicant, we wanted to make sure that the parking wasn't just concentrated in one area, that it was spread throughout the development. So that way, people don't minimize parking on the street. Because obviously Pacific is a major street, and there's a lot of cars driving very quickly. And then you also don't want to have all the parking here on Garden as well. So that's one of the reasons why we made sure that the guest parking is spread out.
Great. Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good idea to make it, quote unquote, fair for all the residents. So, but thank you for bringing this project. I think it looks really good.
Yes.
One more. Yeah, just one more question. So that's a sidewalk that's surrounding the outside of the property there?
Yes. So this is a sidewalk. They are going to be required to do improvements to the sidewalk. They will be required to do ADA accessibility as needed. So they will need to submit street improvement plans to our Public Works Department.
So on the Garden Drive side, that sidewalk stops at the property line?
Correct. They're only required
Yeah,
to
right.
do their frontage.
Okay. All right, thank you.
You're welcome.
I do like Oliver's suggestion, just because I know how bureaucracies work. and trying to get the school district won't necessarily work the way you think, but if the HOA is totally responsible, your graffiti and anything else can be taken care of immediately. I like Oliver's idea of to set everything about 2 feet in. That way, it's just the property owner, HOA is responsible. Getting a bureaucracy like a school district to come and work with you, it's not that easy. I really like his idea, because that way the HOA is responsible and you will have an immediate response. The property owners won't see the graffiti in their yard. It's on the school side, on the west side, that you're going to see the damage, and they're not necessarily going to take care of it. Just, that's how it works. I really like his idea.
So, Madam Chair, we have two different approaches as far as I hear. Option 1, keep things the same. Option 2, move everything 2 or 3 feet inwards. So I think we need to take a show of hands and, whatever has the majority, whichever option has the majority, then we can ask the applicant if he would agree to that.
Through the chair, I have one more question.
Just 1 second. Yes.
If I recall that property correctly, isn't there a chain link fence that runs north and south on that asphalt? So if you put a wall 2 feet behind that, you're still going to have the chain link fence there that's going to make that wall almost impossible to maintain. So you almost have to have an agreement to where you come up to the wall or else have a small area for maybe 6 inches if you want to put landscaping in there. And you also have to have an agreement with the school to run their chain link fence over to the wall, so that when the school is not in session, that gate is locked and shut. So actually access won't be available to that wall at that time. So it is a little bit of a tricky situation.
And this is something we did request the block wall for the intents and purposes of creating this additional buffer. There is other fence material that is allowed in terms of it being more open work, like wrought iron type of fencing material. I know that's not something that we brought since we've seen a lot of our residential developments, them wanting block as part of the development to create that additional buffer space. But there is other fencing material that they may be able to place that may not create that privacy, but at least maybe address some of the concerns regarding, the maintenance of the wall on the school side, as well as any kind of additional issues regarding graffiti, maybe incorporating more a combination of, block with wrought iron as well to create, and then maybe additional thicker landscaping. That could be an alternative as well. I'm just, kind of trying to address a lot of the concerns.
I think the block wall is a very good idea.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't know why we couldn't possibly have a little bit of conversation with the school district, perhaps, to where they give us access to that wall. But again, you have that chain link fence situation. Very much like when you have two property owners, they want to put a fence side on each side. It would kind of work together.
Yeah, and that's something that I think as we go through the project development, that would be something that the property owner, if he's open to it, could possibly, reach to the school district, maybe us helping him get that information so that way he can start those conversations.
Yeah. Okay. Thank
So
you.
maybe as a suggestion is that, it seems like we might want to open it up a little bit wider, maybe 3 feet between the property line and the wall, and then this way we can put a gate between the house and the existing chain link fence, and then you could open that gate, and that would be it would be even to where the house is. May I see the clicker?
Yes.
I'll shake my hand. So right now, by our code, the wall that's going to, from here is where it's 6 feet. It's got to be lower here for your visibility because of the driveway here, so so there's not a blind spot there. So your 6-foot wall will start here. Let's pretend for a second that we've pushed the wall back, and that's, boy, I'm really shaking here. And this is the wall, and this line here is where the property line is and where the chain link fence is currently at. So now this little gap in here, we'll say for discussion purposes, we'll make that 3 feet, right? And then this part, then right in here, there would be a gate so that it opens and closes, so someone that needs to maintain can walk up and down here between the chain link fence of the school district and the block wall for the project. That would be a suggestion.
I think that would be ideal, just because I do like the block wall because it does offer some privacy, a noise barrier for the residents that are living there. It also gives that little bit of space between them overlooking, into the school, since they are 2-story homes. Also, as it is a drive and everything, it is also another, safety measure that if someone's kind of reckless and making that turn too quickly, they're not, driving into someone's home. So
Correct.
I understand the wrought iron. It would be good, but I think it'd be nicer having that block wall. I think, like Commissioner Armstead might have suggested as well, I think kind of moving in that street just a little bit to have that access so we're not having to step on anyone's toes. That'd be great. If the applicant is amenable and the commission's amenable, I think that would be our nice little medium. That way that greenery also, it just makes a little additional kind of pretty look. And then if it does grow out a little bit, it just adds that extra buffer to the school as well.
Okay. If we can, Oliver, read the condition in, and then if the applicant agrees, then we can definitely incorporate that as part of the condition, so that way when they submit their construction drawings, we can definitely make sure that that's in there.
That would help, thank you. So now, do we need to take a poll as far as,
Yeah, let's make sure that a majority of the commission is on board with that approach first.
okay.
So
then-
just by a show of hands, who's in favor of moving everything in maybe 3 feet? Okay.
To accommodate.
So now we can ask the applicant if he would agree to that.
Sir, is that something that you would
Yes.
agree to? Yes? Okay.
Yes, if I may, so we were going to add the condition requiring the landscaping along that side, right on the end, to provide the screening, and then we were also going to add the varying tree sizes on the frontages, so that we can get a mixture of mature trees and whatever. So we would add that condition, and then we would say that submitted for review and approval by the planning division prior to the issuance of a building permit. And that would be one condition, and then the second added condition would be to essentially redesign the site plan to shift the 3 buildings on the westerly side of the site, push them to the east to maintain at least that 10-foot minimum setback for or backyard, I should say, between the house and the wall, and that we would have at least a 3-foot setback of the block wall for the block wall and the property line, so that they could put the landscaping and maintain and any graffiti removal, and with the inclusion of the gate, even to where the house line is, so we can access that area. I'll come up with something a little more eloquent when I write it down, but essentially that's what I'm saying. Thank you.
Thank you, and you'll agree to those? Okay, thank you. So, is anyone else to speak? Okay, so we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. May I entertain a motion for item number 3?
I'll entertain a motion that we pass item number 3 with the different amenities, the moving of the homes a little bit in, that extra parcel, the gate, the greenery. Yeah.
I'll second.
Call for the vote.
Okay, Chair Guerrero, how do you vote?
Aye.
And then Vice Chair Armstead? Commissioner Lopez?
Aye.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Commissioner Quill?
Aye.
Commissioner Flores?
Yes.
And the Commissioner Lewis?
Yes.
And Commissioner Morales?
Yes.
All right, it passes.
Okay, no opposed?
Congratulations.
Okay, thank you. If we'll go ahead and move on to item number 4, staff report, please.
Sorry. Okay. Good evening. Item number 4 is development permit type P 21-09. This consists of the construction of 32 single-family homes within tract map number 20251 on a parcel containing approximately 4.28 acres located at 2578 West Rialto Avenue within the residential urban zone. Here we have the zoning map. The parcel is, the project site is located within a area that is surrounded by residential urban to the south, north, east, and west. Here we have the aerial map. We have the, I'm sorry if I could get the, we have our apartment complex to the north of the site. We have single-family residential to the south. We also have single-family residential to the east of the site, and we have some single-family residential and our mobile home park to the west. The project does meet policies within our city's general plan. Here we have the existing site is currently vacant. We have our view looking to the north of the site. We see the apartment complex just beyond the railroad. This is looking to the south, where we could see the single-family residential development. Looking to the east and also looking to the west. Here we have our site plan. The project site will be accessed from Rialto Avenue. They will provide 4 open spaces that will have seating areas for the residents, and we have a large open area in the middle that will provide seating, also a barbecue area for those to socialize in. They will provide 32 off-site parking spaces for guest parking. And we have a basin right in the front that will be enclosed with a 6-foot wrought iron fencing. We'll have a decorative block along the boundaries of the east, west, and north of the property, and also in between the homes will be decorative split face block wall. Here we have our landscaping plans. We'll have, landscaping buffers in the front between the sidewalk and also our basin. It will be a 3-foot wide buffer. We'll have a buffer, I believe it's about 10-foot landscape buffer between the open space and our sidewalk area. Landscaping will be provided throughout the open space for shade, also with in our front and side properties of the 32 single-family homes. The project will consist of two floor plans. This is our first floor plan, which is approximately 1,568 square foot. It will have 2-car garage. It's a 2-story with 3 beds and 2.5 baths. The second floor plan will be approximately 1,861 square foot, two-story as well. That will have 3 beds and 3 baths. Here are some renderings. Each floor plan will provide 2 different styles of architecture. We have Spanish style, which will have, I'm sorry, I'm trying to click the laser. We have our Spanish style, which will have the tile roofing with 2 planes, just to break up the plain wall to provide more architectural articulation. The Craftsman style will provide the horizontal slats. For the Plan 2, which is the largest floor plan, we will have 3 planes for our Spanish style. And for the Craftsman style, will also incorporate the horizontal slats. Staff recommends the Planning Commission adopt resolution number 2022-017, finding the project categorically exempt pursuant to section 15061B3, review of exemption, in accordance with the California Environmental Quality Act, and approving development permit type P 21-09 based on the findings of the facts subject to the recommended conditions of approval. That concludes staff presentation. I am available for any questions, and I believe I do have the representative of the projects here as well.
If I may add to that, Commissioners, to the presentation, just for clarification, this project was approved as a tentative track map by the Planning Commission in February of 2019. The final map was approved by the City Council this past March. So the map has been recorded. We have the legal 32 lots there now. The item before you is for the homes only, so items as it relates to the off-site improvements, dedications, and those kinds of things, that's already been addressed by the city and the Public Works Department. So the item for you before you this evening is just the houses themselves and the landscaping, of course. Thank you.
Thank you, Oliver. Okay, so we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing item for number 4. Is there anyone wishing to speak from the audience? No? Okay, so we'll...
Sorry, forgive me, is this time for the applicant to speak, or is that...
You may.
That follows the public comment period, so there's no one here to give public comment. This is the time for the applicant to give comments and answer questions.
Yes, thank you. Oh, yes, Ms. Brown. Okay. You'll need to be sworn in as well.
Do you solemnly affirm that the testimony you're about to give before this body will be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth? If so, please say I do.
I do.
Okay, go for it.
Hi, my name is Cheryl Brown, and I sat where you're sitting for a long time. So I'm here just to say, let's really look at what we're designing. And since you have the design standards for the houses, let's look at the houses as, let's look at some of the communities where people are spending a lot of money for houses. And I'm sure this one's not cheap. But let's look at some of those houses and make sure that our houses are complementary to other cities that are more well-heeled, I guess you could say. Make sure that the developers do the best. Thank you.
All right. Now go right ahead.
Thank you. Sworn in first? No, you don't. Okay, perfect. Thank you. Good evening. My name is RJ. I'm with Monte Vista Homes. I'm Director of Planning. And while newer to the Monte Vista team, newer to working with the city, I want to thank you. I've been privy to a lot of different emails and engaged in portion of it. So the engagement back and forth has been very helpful to form this project, good, solid, strong project. And thank you, Ms. Brown, I think it is. Great comment, because we made sure to be, as we should, consistent with surrounding neighborhoods. So we looked at the Frontier community that was done. I don't recall when it was done exactly, but we used that as a baseline inspiration to build toward the design of these homes, and in close coordination when planning. I think we made a great product that fortunately will be in a pretty good solid price point of about the low to mid fours. So it's a very exciting time considering the rising. I think the median price for homes these days is like $550,000. So, wow. But I'm here to answer any questions you may have that, planning is, unable, needs any further clarification. But if anything, I just wanted to thank everyone for their time.
Okay, we'll go ahead and start with Commissioner Familia. Go ahead.
Oh, I don't have any questions at this time, except that it looks like a good project.
Thank you.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes, so much like Commissioner Lopez said, this project actually looks really nice. And I think I remember actually kind of approving this one and subdividing it into 32 pieces. Yeah, it's been I wanted to thank staff for actually incorporating the double-sided split face walls between the homes, because with wind, and I think we had this argument or this discussion in a prior tract home kind of project, that this is actually important that we keep it consistent and nice throughout the entire city. Again, I'll mention greenery for perimeters. Is that in the works, or is that something that's can be added?
Are you talking
for the perimeter of the project?
Well, we have the open spaces in the front of the project. Also, we have single-family homes right around here, so we have the open space along on the backside of those single-family homes as well, and then we have the open areas.
I know that you said that there's a perimeter around the backside of like
decorative rock.
Yes.
The decorative wall.
Yes, and that's where I was asking if there was going to be an incorporation of greenery or not, or how was that?
Right now, it's not being proposed, but maybe. Are you talking along the railroad?
Outside? Mm-hmm.
Oh, okay. Maybe something that the developer.
Are you thinking something like we did with the last project?
Yes, something like maybe even just having at least some greenery, or something that prevents a little bit of graffiti.
Would you mind going to the aerial, please, Chantel?
Because I know we have.
Because if it abuts like other homes, then I mean,
so there's we run into challenges in doing that, and I don't know that we want to use what we did for the last project as a standard for all housing projects, because
no, of course not.
You never know what happens in that 3-foot space. So I'm just.
No, just wondering at that for like the open areas that was like facing like kind of the street. I didn't know exactly.
So along the street frontage, there'll be landscaping along the street there.
Right along here, we'll have the landscape, or 3-foot wide landscape buffer between the sidewalk and the catch basin, and also on the other side of the wrought iron fence, it will also be a landscape strip. So it'll be about like a 5-foot wide landscape.
Oh, that'd be perfect. Yeah. No, I was just wondering, because how you see the plans and everything, it's kind of a little harder to see if, what's open, what's not. And it did say perimeter, so I was wondering, well, how about the front at least,
Yes, so there will be landscaping along the front.
Perfect, okay.
Yes.
And then, so again, I'll mention kind of the trees and everything. Will there be the variety of like some mature trees as well?
That is something that we could ask for.
That'd be wonderful.
Yeah, sorry to interject.
No, of course.
Which exactly, yeah. I know that's pretty important. I've done this for about 20 years, and it's so critical that we have a good variety, but trees that can handle the climate zone, and we don't have deciduous trees that are just shedding everywhere. So yeah, we'll be making sure that it's a good solid complement of trees where they'll be consistent with the surrounding area and appropriate naturally for this climate.
Wonderful, yeah. I just didn't want to see a kind of just odd trees and then, a lot of baby ones as well.
Yeah.
Some, that'll blend in a little bit. I like that, for your open areas, you have the benches, you have trash cans, which isn't always, on all these properties. And then the shades, they actually look quite nice for these areas. Honestly, I think it looks great. And then is there anything in terms of like green energy? I know that there's, efficiencies that have to be implemented for new projects like this, but could you explain what's going to be added?
As far as the building of the homes, that will be something that will be required through building and safety through the Title 24 for the energy efficiency.
Perfect. All right. Thank you.
Yes, thank you. Can we take a look at the elevations again, please? Okay, the front elevations, there's something I notice here. I don't see any front doors. Where are the front doors?
Great question, great point. These are actually side-loaded. So a little bit of a good best practice in use of space where the entries are all to this side. So I don't know if you have the side elevations available, but
Are these pre-manufactured homes?
oh no, they'll be site-built homes.
It just looks strange without front doors. Can you have the two elevations, the Spanish style and the other style? Okay. Okay.
We all go through the garage anyway, right?
Well, I guess you're right.
What color's your front door, Larry?
I got 3 brown ones. On this style where you've got the Craftsman style and the Spanish style in the same complex, are they spread out to where they're not just every other one is a different one, is it? Or they?
From what I recall, we made because I know that we don't want to break the typical monotony rule. And if memory serves, the elevations, including the color schemes, are all broken up to avoid any sort of monotony. But forgive me, I don't recall the exact programming that we used to do that. But I presume it was to planning satisfaction. I don't recall any notes beyond that.
So it is.
You have 4 designs, right?
Yes.
Oh, there's 4?
So yes. So the plan 1 will be what you see up top. Okay. And plan 2 is the larger floor plans. And it is broken up. So they're not all in one cluster. They are broken up.
Okay. Thank you. Well,
yeah.
Just a personal preference, I would prefer at least one of those plans or 2 of the plans to have front doors. That's just something that stood right out at me.
Yeah, unfortunately, with the constraints of the lot sizing, square footage, and to try to achieve a certain price point, it's like if only we could. But no, point taken.
Thank you very much.
Can you walk through the circulation again? I just want to make sure I understand it correctly. There's only the entrance through Rialto?
Yes, it is only the entrance to, through Rialto. And this was, the traffic was looked at when the subdivision map was presented. So this is already approved. It's just the homes that we're looking at now.
And are those the inside streets? Are those considered public streets, or are they part of the development and will be maintained by the project?
Private.
They're private.
Got it. Cool. And then for the open space, are they just? I saw there was mention of seating area.
Yes.
Is there any other sort of amenity besides?
In the
grass
larger open space, there are barbecue grills that will be provided for picnicking, socializing.
And what about shade?
It is a shade structure right in the middle. It will be a shade structure as well. And
Look at that large area in the center. That's kind of like a park light setting. So it looks like it has benches and shade structures on both sides, both ends of the little park.
And in terms of lighting, was that also approved as part of the subdivision, or what does the lighting area look, or lighting plan, I guess, look like?
For the streets or for the park area, or
both?
So on the park area, if you don't mind, so you will see there's lighting on both sides of the. You see like those little dots there, like there to the left a little bit. Got it. Right there. So there's lights there on both ends, and then there'll be street lighting that goes throughout the circulation of the project.
Got it. And I imagine those are LED and energy efficient?
Yes, according to our Public Works guy.
Perfect. Right. Thank you.
Just a question, a clarification for me and for the audience. There's 32 homes, and we only have one entry point in case of emergency. I know it's been approved, but that's normal? 32 homes, 32 people trying to escape a fire or something. Explain, because I'm not sure. That seems like a lot of houses for one entry.
I know that the fire department has a standard for that. I'm not sure what the threshold is for the number of units, but it was approved, designed and approved as a planned unit development. You've seen a couple of those now where it's gated and you have private streets on the inside, and so they do have they have the requirements for fire hydrants on the inside for the fire protection kind of a thing, or to prevent fight if there's a fire in there. But it was processed through the fire department, and it met their standards. I don't recall off the top of my head what that requirement is.
I'm just wondering, not just fire, any kind of emergency. You have one entrance, people panic, and there's no other, even if it's a closed gate, there's no other point of entry. That would be scary. But it's been approved, so. And this is an HOA type facility. Okay, that would scare me. I guess that's it. You showed us the four different plans. I'm ignorant. They all look the same to me. Okay, that's a statement. That's it.
Good afternoon, sir. This is looks to be like another welcome site. We like houses in San Bernardino. We need more. But as we move forward with our desire to become a green community, there are some things, and I know that the Title 44
Title 24
covers a lot of that. However, it doesn't require, to my knowledge, it doesn't require that we, in these fine garages that seem to be the front of the house, that there are any electrical vehicle charging infrastructure, because that's where we're going here. You're going to get more people buying electric vehicles. Charging at level 1 is not going to be a convenient thing for homeowners. They want level 2 charging, which will charge it faster than the 13 to 18 hours that it takes to charge.
Oh yeah, I know. Well, yeah, I have a Tesla myself when I purchased.
I'm thinking that maybe that would be a really good idea. I don't know. I don't think that's required, but it certainly would be an absolute good selling point.
Agreed, yeah. Yeah, I'm not, I don't believe it's required under current code, but we'll definitely discuss it internally to see what we can do to, maybe in terms of economies of scale, to get something in there to add that value, because I agree, yeah. Especially with gas prices these days, yeah.
Yeah. That's all I have. It looks like there is no gate there off of Rialto, or entry gate that opens up. It's just wide open.
You are correct, yes, sir.
So that little area, let's see, you have a few of them, but that main area where the park is, the covered patio, that's basically John can just walk in and go barbecue. Doesn't live there, but
it's a great question. I'm just trying to recall if there was a fence. Yeah, I'm just gonna, if memory serves, yet there is no fence.
In this open area, no, there is no fence being proposed.
I'm speaking of back over here. Yeah, in there.
Oh,
yeah.
No, there's no fence.
So the HOA will maintain those areas, and I know there is parking there. But I know just as like I live in an HOA, it's gated, and wow, so many people come in, guests and whatnot. So fortunately, it's a seemingly a fact of life, regardless of sort of saddled with it. But I think I understand your point. Yeah, ideally, like it's trying to keep people out, so we can keep it, for those that live there.
Yeah. Well, and it's not so much necessarily to keep people out. It's more just, you're going to be selling these homes for some substantial amount, and I'm just thinking that the new residents there are going to want to feel secure, and if there's 30 people from the mobile home park that decide to come over and use the facilities, I know that. I don't know if the HOA is on site or not. I'm just saying it's something to consider.
Well, Commissioners, if I may suggest, this project was designed as a planned unit development. Typically, they are private and gated.
Right.
I think it would be appropriate to suggest putting a gate for the entrance there. If the applicant would concur with that.
Well, for the project entry would be problematic just because, so from a traffic standpoint, also, I've been doing any calculations, but just looking at it, looks like the width wouldn't work out to put a kiosk. It would be probably easier for us to do some sort of either something for like the park areas, but then also too we have to consider low voltage wiring in order to be able to set up like a fob system, so sort of a key gate access. There's some complexity there, but I'm pretty confident we can discuss internally, and we'll coordinate with planning, engineering, et cetera, to figure out something to make the residents feel more secure with their amenities.
If I could, sir, make a suggestion. Because this is Rialto. That's Rialto right there, Avenue, right? Yeah. And that's the entry. Yeah, you don't want to be sitting there waiting to make a left turn to get behind a gate. So would it be feasible to consider putting the entry gate or a entry gate further in so that you could have 2 or 3 cars, pretty much like a lot of the other of course, the fire department would have access through their main key, but just further in so that now you don't have to wait on Rialto. You can actually just drive in. If there's no one there, you're the first one unless everybody's coming home at the same time,
I'd have to coordinate with other departments, notably probably Public Works Engineering, in terms of how that could be facilitated, because, I mean, maybe, but I'm no expert. But like I said, I'd have to defer to them with whatever the city requirements are to achieve that, if possible.
Would the commission be amenable to a condition that allows us to explore that with the applicant and engineering?
Absolutely.
And if we can't come to a viable solution, that it not be required? If we give it our all to try, but I mean, I personally, I think that there should be some security measure there, one way or the other. We could maybe we could come up with a way to do that.
I agree. I like that idea.
I would be amenable to that.
Yeah.
I think as long as there's talks or at least some effort made to kind of, privatize that area, that would be great.
Yes.
I'm sorry. I was going to say, and I could always report back afterwards, let you know what we resolved and kind of what a little bit of our dialogue. So when you drive by there, you don't say, what the heck, what happened, or, you'll be informed what the solution is.
Right.
I think it's a good idea, and we'll start conversation on that tomorrow. I'm just writing that down so I don't forget.
Very good. And one final thing, and I'll be quiet. That being the only entry in and out of 32 homes, number one, I do understand there's an HOA, but are they on site, or is this a contracted company from somewhere else?
It'll be a contracted company, so they will not be on site.
So are we having, or is that, do we have camera surveillance in that one? Not anywhere in there, just anything that comes in and out of there.
There are no planned cameras. In part, just logistics. I mean, perhaps there's someone much smarter than me who can figure all that out. But it was also too, we're trying to keep the HOA costs down, because we're trying to. At this point, they're about $150 a month approximately, and that is even without the gate. That would then increase those dues. Mm-hmm. But we can discuss internally. But that would be cost-wise, low voltage. Location of cameras would be problematic, and in my experience would be atypical for a development of this size. But I understand, I mean, heck, I live in a 1,000-home community and I don't have cameras. I'm like, I wish I had cameras. So I can understand your point.
Well, yeah, and that's only because there's only one way in and one way out. So if somebody goes in there and does something and tries to run out, I mean, we got them. We got there it is. I mean,
I'll discuss it and see what we can do to fit that in to keep the HOA dues still low. It's worth discussion. Yeah.
All right. That's it. That's all I have. I'm going to be quiet now. For a little while.
I don't have any further questions. So.
Yeah.
If I may, for clarification, the conditions that we wanted to modify, we have condition number 11 in our existing resolution that talks about the landscaping plans. If the commission is amenable, we would add the language in there talking about the plans being submitted for review and approval by the planning division prior to the issuance of a building permit, similar to we did with the others, to ensure that we have variation of landscaping size along the perimeters. So that would be amending the condition number 11. Then adding a new condition, something along the line, work in collaboration to explore a viable solution to secure the vehicular entrance off of Rialto.
That sounds good. That does. Okay. And will the applicant be acceptable to those?
I do have a question on the perimeter, because forgive me, I couldn't pull up the landscape plan, so I know what we have is that, I was just trying to get a better understanding of the buffer, because on the perimeter on Rialto, typically there might be a CFD or some sort of LMD that maintains that area, which would then be covered in the property tax roll, or depending on how it's set up.
I think we're talking about the on-site landscaping, so what you have like
Oh, okay.
adjacent. So what we're really looking for is make sure that we have a variety of sizes.
Oh, perfect. Okay, never mind. Thank you.
So would the applicant be
Yes, ma'am.
acceptable to those conditions? Okay, thank you. So we will go ahead and close public hearing, and may I entertain a motion?
I make a motion that we pass item number 4 with the amended, approved conditions.
Okay, second?
I second that motion.
Call for the vote.
Okay, Chair Guerrero, how do you vote?
Aye.
Vice Chair Armstead? Commissioner Armstead, or Commissioner Lopez, excuse me.
Lopez?
Lopez, yeah.
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Commissioner Quill? Yes. Commissioner Flores?
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis?
Yes.
And then Commissioner Morales?
Yes.
Okay, it's approved.
All right, no opposed? Thank you.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank
oh,
you.
sorry, one last question.
Oh, go ahead.
When would you get started with this project?
Great question. As soon as possible, but forgive me. Trying to recall the schedule. Building. I apologize. I will get back to you. Stump me there. I don't recall, but I will get back to you on timing.
Perfect. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, thank you. Moving on to item number 5. Staff report, please.
I feel like I've been talking all night here. Let's see, item number 5 is development permit type P 21-10. So we have a senior healthcare facility here, which would be for daytime visitors for their health service needs. So before you is the elevation looking from the street. So the property, again, it's a single-story senior health care facility. It's on Western Avenue between Gullet Street and West 17th Street. Property is zoned within the commercial office zone, which does allow for these types of facilities and offices. The site is approximately 1.44 acres in size. This is showing the zoning map. Again, the purple is the commercial office. So the highlighted area with the arrow, that's the project site. We have the hospital facility that's across the street on Western, and then we have the yellow, which is single-family residential to the east. This is an aerial of the site. Again, the site is vacant. We have the residential properties on to the north and the east side, and again, primarily medical uses there along Western Avenue. And the condition of sites are a vacant lot looking towards it, looking towards the northeast. Just looking towards the southeast. And again, the hospital would be behind you on that slide. So in the analysis on this, and so this was a rather unique facility where that's dealing with the elderly. So they're being driven there by vans, shuttles, and what have you. And so we discussed a few things for the project. And similar to we have schools and daycare centers, and so when this use is primarily drop off and pick up, we wanted to ensure that there was a safety of the patients coming in and out. So we wanted to be mindful of what the loading and unloading area was going to be, realizing that they were all coming in by van. Again, it wasn't analyzed as a standard office building per se, because we have the employees that I believe their shifts are about 40 to 50 per shift over the course of the day. And then they have their patients that come in and are dropped off. And I'll show you the elevations, or excuse me, the floor plans inside. But the project overall has been designed to provide to accommodate for enough off-street parking. There was a parking analysis that was done for this project based on the type of use that it is. They have a couple of other facilities that they run that are similar to this. So they had an idea of how what their needs were going to be. Again, wasn't designed anything differently from the outside, so you still have the landscaping, you have the the architecture and stuff, and so we just wanted to be mindful of that. So the site plan is it's kind of hazy here, but we have the building is to the southerly portion of the site. So this is the floor plan. I wanted to explain this a little bit. So the different colors identify the different activities, if you will, for the patients coming in. So we have these are the administrative offices for the staff and on-site personnel. Then we have the recreation area, and we have the clinic area for the patients. So this is where there will be their medical services and such will be provided. We have what we call the great room, which is really kind of a foyer or entryway for the circulation as they come in. Patients come in. We have a dining area where they come in. They're able to have their nutritional needs. This is the elevation. Again, this is comparable to a medical facility. I think it's been designed neatly. Bless you. And again, it's a couple of different elevations looking at the project. I do have the applicant here that I think could do a good job in explaining the facility, their services, and kind of their history in doing this. Certainly would do a much better job than I would in describing their services, but I think it's a well-needed facility. I don't believe that we have one that's similar to this, and so I think that it would suit the area quite well. This is the landscaping plan. I'm showing this because the site plan didn't show the circulation as nicely as I would have liked. But if we have so this is Western here. So you have the hospital on this side. And so the idea is that when the patients are being shuttled in, they come in this way, and the vans pull in here, and then these little hatched areas are those areas where the patient can get in and out of the vans, so they're staying out of the circulation, and then we have some handicap stalls that are here as well. So the whole idea was to keep the patients from the red little line down. Okay, so they come in. So patients are not being driven up here. They're not driving themselves, or they're not being driven here by passenger car. So you don't have this going on. So these parking stalls are for the employees. So just to be mindful of that. And so I wanted to point that out because I was very critical. I think we went through the rendition of the site plan maybe 3 or 4 times to ensure this safety for the patients. With that concludes my presentation. We'd like the Planning Commission to consider adopting Resolution 2022-018, finding the project categorically exempt as an infill project and approving the development permit based on the findings of fact and the recommended conditions of approval. Again, I invite the applicant to step forward and give you a little bit of background and presentation on their project, and I would also be able to answer any questions if you have any. Thank you.
We'll open the public hearing. And would the applicant like to? Oh.
Well, good evening. We've got a lot going on in the 6th Ward, don't we?
Yes.
So what I'd like to do, first of all, is invite Ms. Brown up as well, because I took Ms. Brown with me to Long Beach to go visit a sister site of this project. And been communicating with these good folks here for a couple of months now because they reached out to say that they were bringing a project to the community, and I'd like to know what's coming into the community. So we took a ride, and we were very, very amazed and happy. Ms. Brown serves on several commissions that serve and are concerned with situations and that address our seniors and how they're developing within our community and the services that we need to bring forth in our community. So we were shown around, and I just couldn't really, I'd never seen a facility like this ever, where it was like what we call a one-stop shop. So our seniors are able to either come in the morning session or the evening session. I don't want to tell it all, right? But we learned a lot. And the first session would be like 8 to 12. You're able to come in, they're able to come in, they're able to get their hair done. They're able to take a shower or a bath. They're able to see their doctors. They're able to see their dentists. They're able to receive physical therapy. And they're able to take a rest. If they get tired within those 4 hours, they're able to lay down. There were several rooms to where they needed to take a break just for a minute to have some peace and quiet. The beauty of it all was they would get breakfast, lunch, if they were on the first shift, or coming on the 1 to 5, they would be able to receive lunch and dinner. Yes, amazing, right? I see you over there. We were amazed as well. There was this beautiful garden area where if they wanted to go outside and sit, even tend to the garden as well, the plants outside. It was ample space, and I believe our facility is going to be a little bit larger than the one that we were able to visit. The staff was so warm and welcoming. Now, one of the other things that I found to be so amazing was that our unsheltered seniors will be able to visit this facility as well on a daily basis, and they provide transportation for those that need it. And I just couldn't, and it's right there, we're going to build it right there across from the hospital, so that makes it pitch perfect, right? But just to have this type of facility right there nestled in the community to where we don't have to be concerned or worried about our elders who might not even have a family member that is still around to help to take care of them. It was very warming. And so when Ms. Brown was able to give that stamp of approval, then I knew that it was the right thing for us to do, to bring this back to the community and say, this is a way that we can take care of our elders, because it's important that we do so.
Thank you. Thank you, Kim. Thank you for the drive down, and thank you for bringing this to our community. First of all, PACE is a program that was started, I don't know how many years ago, but it was started by a couple of doctors who thought that they could do a better job of just taking care of people who are seniors. And one of the things that we have happening right now is the government is saying nursing homes should be for people who need nursing homes. Right now, we're putting people who don't need a nursing home in them because they don't have anybody to take care of them in their home. This helps to augment that reality. And what it does is it takes a person who needs to do whatever they want to do in the day, is someone to look out for them, and then they can go back home and look out for themselves or have someone else come in. The PACE, it's called the Program of All-Inclusive Care for the elderly, right? It's a big program, and the government, state of California, is really, really looking into it and actually putting a lot of funds behind it. I didn't know how much until I was doing a presentation for USC, and they finally gave us the numbers. This is a $2 billion budget for the state for seniors this year. So it's a lot of money. It's a good program. I am pleased with what I see here, and I'm pleased with what I saw in Long Beach. Ours is going to be different than Long Beach's because they're building from the ground up. In Long Beach, they had to go in and convert a building. So this one is really a good fit for our community, and especially across from the hospital. So I hope that you'll go ahead and approve the project. Thank you.
Thank you.
Do you have any questions? And I should tell you that I also am representing the California Commission on Aging, and I am a commissioner. Thank you.
Thank you. And we do have a request to speak from Caesar Science.
I live right behind that empty property. My concerns are security. My concerns are that barrier between my home, the empty lot and the new building. You know, it's not much. It's just that I had a lot of, in the past, cut fences, stolen properties from there, and my concerns are more into a security. Yeah. Is there going to be cameras? There going to be security there? What kind of noises they're going to be towards there? So I live right on Pico Avenue, right behind that new building they're going to build. So that's pretty much my concern. And people, if they're going to park next to my property, what kind of drugs or anything, or who's going to be smoking there and all that. I know that smoking going towards my property, you know, and what kind of fence they're going to build. That's pretty much my concern. Thank you.
Would the applicant like to speak?
Good evening. Thank you, commissioners. And thank you to staff. Are you missing Harold? Yeah, okay. Harold and Oliver, thank you very much. You know that by the time we get here, it means staff and everyone, all the departments and the applicant have spent a lot of time. So we're super excited to be here. And thank you to Councilmember Calvin and to Assemblymember Brown. It was a real treat to have them tour the facility, because seeing something is just, it's so much more than reading something and looking at nice pictures, even the nicest pictures. To actually go see it and feel the energy of it and talk about the different rooms and how things function. So thank you for spending the time to do that. Really appreciate it. As Assemblymember Brown said, the primary purpose of this, I'm going to state it a little differently, is to help seniors remain in their home. And this facility is open to any senior 55 years of age and older. And so it gives them a place to go during the day to socialize. Many of the seniors live alone. So it gives them a place to go to have a meal, to play a card game, to talk with someone, to work on an art project, to listen to music, to take a nap, get their hair done, get their nails done, get a pedicure, and see their doctor. And so it's really social as well as medical. The senior's primary care doctor is someone that visits the facility, and then that primary care doctor coordinates all of their care. Some of that care will take place at the facility. Some of it will take place in their home. Some of it will take place in San Bernardino in the community, which is a reason that this facility is going where it's going, because we're going to be tapping into all of the existing medical services already offered here. The seniors are brought to the facility in a van. They're picked up at their home, and they're brought to the center for either the morning session from 8 to noon approximately, or in the afternoon from 1 to 5. So yes, they get a meal, and their schedule is somewhat planned for them when they do visit, so they can get all the needed care at that time. They may come 1 day a week, they may come 2 times a week, and most of them who join remain at the facility for a very long time and are able to stay in their homes much, much longer than if they did not have this facility to go to. So we're really excited about this facility. I wanted to mention the neighbor's concern. Thank you for bringing that up. We will be putting a 6-foot masonry block wall. It's a solid wall, which will provide much more security than what is there now. We think it will probably satisfy the concerns that the neighbor brought up. So just wanted to make sure you knew that there is that wall at the property line with the single-family homes. And Charles Smythe with Market Street Development is here with me too, so both of us are here to answer any questions that you may have.
Commissioner Lopez? Any?
Does that answer your security question? The block wall? Yes? Okay. Well, I don't have any further comment. It looks like a good project, other than that one.
All right. similar to, I think, what most people have mentioned, this does look like a great project, and it is helping, a community that, really desperately does need the help. And I know people who have had to go into senior homes because there wasn't projects like this. So this is great addition to our city. I did have a few simple questions. So you guys are not open on weekends, is that correct? Would that change in future, or would?
Hi, Charles Smythe. No, they operate Monday through Friday, 8 to 5.
8 to 5, okay. All right. And then, like the renderings showed and everything, you have a 6-foot double split face masonry wall. So thank you for having that, because it really does add to the city and makes it pretty. Security cameras, security on site, much like the neighbor mentioned, is that going to be inside and outside, or is that something that's?
As I recall, we are the developer. Unfortunately, the tenant wasn't able to come down. Their flight was canceled, and then their second one was delayed. So good old Southwest. But yes, I recall there are security cameras on the outside. There are not security cameras inside because it's staffed full time.
Okay. And then there's no medicine being distributed on the premises, correct?
Just the general physicians there, but there's no pharmacy.
Okay, perfect. And then I was looking at the site plan. There's metal roofs. Is there a reason there's metal roofs rather than, the traditional things or tile?
Just to break up the architectural and make it a little more interesting. The split at the asphalt with the metal, we think it adds a nice look. And it kind of changes things up.
Okay, that sounds great. Yeah, I was just wondering if there was benefits
No,
to the
we
metal.
just like it.
And then I've got quite a few smiley faces with your landscaping. It looks lovely. I mean, the trees and the shrubbery, and I like that, it showed it there. There's a 48-inch box, trees, and so these more mature trees that are going in. So I think this looks like a great project. Thank you.
This question would probably be to staff, but perhaps you can even help here. Oliver, you had mentioned that you worked a few times around on the drive-through and the parking issue. When I hear that seniors are going to be visiting this place daily, is there adequate parking, or is there a drive-through or valet parking or a porta-potty or something, or whatever you call that, to where people can drop people off?
So it's our understanding that they will be brought by shuttle van.
Oh.
So the car parking that you see on the parking lot area, that's for the employees. And so the patients, if you will, or the seniors that are coming to and from the site will be brought from their homes or place of residence by van. And that's the purpose of the van drop-off area or the shuttle area. So it's my understanding that there's not going to be patients wandering around the parking lot trying to get from the car to the inside of the facility.
Okay, so it's not a facility where a senior can get in their car for the day and come down and visit or hang out?
No, I can't go and visit that site on my own.
Okay. Likewise, I was hoping to see you there.
I wasn't going to say that, Larry.
Yeah, okay.
I'll meet you there for lunch.
Thank you. Yeah, I was hoping to meet you there. Okay. Well, that was my question.
That's correct. The tenant actually has a transportation department, person there that is coordinating all the vans and so forth. So they arrive at the right time. It's designed, and staff was meticulous about this as well. So seniors aren't walking across drive aisles. They're all dropped off right at the van area, right on the curb, and they go directly into the building. And even to the point where there's an entrance and an exit, so somebody's always monitoring seniors so no one can wander out accidentally.
Okay, so it's not really like a senior recreation center.
No, no, you have to sign up for the program.
Okay. I was looking for the pool tables.
Yeah.
I don't think I have any questions. Thank you for the project.
No, it looks like a very nice upscale senior center.
We're excited.
So very nice, very nice.
Commissioner Armstead.
Just clarification, I like the project, but I'm just a little confused.
Sure.
So it's almost like a senior daycare? It's not a senior center.
You know,
That's what it sounds like.
it's a project every time our company does nothing but medical. We've done probably 80 ground-up medical developments. And when we walk into a city and say we're bringing PACE Center, we get the same thing, you know, what is it? And it is kind of a new creature. And it's a combination where the seniors, I started working with these folks about 5 years ago. I lost my parents years ago, and I, if you will, drank the Kool-Aid because it's amazing the way this is all, you know, one point of care where seniors, as you know, you start having 2, 3, 4 doctors. Sometimes one doctor doesn't know what the other doctor is prescribing. Here you have somebody overseeing everything. So it treats them physically with medication, but also their mental health. They can come in and be with other seniors. They can come in and play bridge with their friends on every, you know, if they're there Tuesdays, Wednesday. So it gives them the physical care through the medical and dental, but also the mental care. So they're not in their homes by themselves all the time. So it is partially, I want to say daycare, but it's not kind of, you know, children daycare where they're dropped off, and I guess it is, but it's really the social aspect. Yeah, because children daycare, the social aspect's huge part of that. So it treats the mind and the body. And it's one of those programs that, you know, for the state is amazing because it saves the state's money and seniors get a better health care. It's a win-win.
So if I was a senior, I couldn't just drive in and say, hey, I want to spend a day here. I have to be
You have to be part of the PACE program, which is a state-run program.
All right.
Yes, absolutely wonderful project.
Thank you.
Absolutely wonderful. I'd like to know a little bit more about this PACE program. Not that I need it or anything like that, but I'm real close.
Yeah. How do you think I became so interested in them?
I mean, so what sector of our community is eligible to become, I mean, what is it, any senior anywhere that can become a PACE?
Correct. Yeah, 55 and over, and it's mainly most of the patients are Medicare or Medicaid.
Mm-hmm.
It's about 95% of the patient, and there's a small percent that are private pay insurance. But it's basically a state-run program that 55 and over, you're eligible to sign up for.
And just join PACE and you're in, huh?
You're in.
Well,
so you got to be 55. You got to wait a ways.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't have any questions, but I am super excited about this. I am a nurse at Pomona Valley Hospital, so I'm super excited I didn't even know this program existed, so I'm definitely going to go do some research and maybe apply, you know, wink, wink. But I think it's great, and I do care for a lot of elderly, and I worry about them a lot if they go to a nursing home or if they don't have anybody else, so I discharge them home, and I know a lot of times that unfortunately they're not going to get adequate care. So this, you know, has a really big place in my heart, and I'm really excited that you guys are coming to the city, and I would love to get more involved in the future. So thank you.
Thank you.
Might I add that we are the first in the region. The day that we visited, we knew that they were going to go, the next day they were coming to go visit Fontana because the mayor there wants it in her city. So San Bernardino has to be the one to kick this off.
I think you're the only one we're doing that's a ground up, so we're excited. Thank you.
Oh, yes. One more question. What's the capacity? Just curious.
Oh, I knew there'd be one. I wouldn't know. 100. Yeah. Each shift from 8 a.m. to noon is 100, and then 1 to 5 is 100. That's the maximum, and it takes years, I think, to gear up to that. But that's the maximum capacity.
Now, can a senior go morning and evening? I'm just curious.
I believe they can. I know they can go multiple days, as much as they want. I don't think there's any limit on how often they can go. So it's just capacity. That's a good question. I knew it to be one I would know.
Okay.
Thank you.
Very nice. Any further comments? No? Oh, can you come to the podium?
Is there a place or a phone number that I could call in case of emergencies? Like somebody getting in there when it's not open?
Yeah,
or
here's my card, and we'll connect you with the actual operators as well.
Okay.
So we'll get you somebody to talk to
Okay,
in case
okay.
something happens.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
call me anytime.
Okay, cool.
Okay.
I really appreciate it. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Go ahead and get the mic. Thank you. All right, so then we'll go ahead and close the public hearing. And can we entertain a motion to vote?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion, we adopt agenda item number 5.
Second.
All right, Chair Guerrero?
Aye.
Vice Chair Armstead?
Yes.
And Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Commissioner Quill? Commissioner Flores?
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis?
Yes.
And Commissioner Morales?
Yes.
All right, it's
No
approved.
opposed? Okay. Thank you. Well, welcome. All right, moving on to item number 6. Before I move on, does anyone need to take a break or 5-minute break or? Okay, we'll continue. No stretch. We're good? Okay. All right. I just want to make sure. All right.
Tough group.
Want to go visit the senior center.
I'll see you in the facility.
All right.
So
Save me a seat, Alex.
we're going to move on to item number 6. Staff report, please.
Yes, Commissioners. Item number 6 is Development Code Amendment 22-03. We're bringing back an amendment for the accessory dwelling units ordinance that we had recently adopted. If you recall, this item was before you, and it went to the Mayor and City Council on May the 5th, where they adopted the ordinance as recommended by the Planning Commission. At that time, well, currently, the government codes or state law allows for the size of accessory dwelling units or ADUs to be up to 1,200 square feet. If you recall, after our discussion, the recommendation by the Planning Commission was for 1,000 feet because of the varying sizes of the properties, where 1,200 square feet may or may not fit in all parcels. The other item that was deliberated by the Planning Commission was the maximum height for the ADUs, or specifically a detached ADU, where we recommended, or the commission was amenable to the single story or 16 feet. The state law does not have a height limitation. So those two, when the ordinance was adopted, it was adopted with the 1,000 square foot maximum size and with the 16-foot height limitation. So we've proposed a modification to change the code, or to modify it to where it would be 1,200 square feet for the ADU, and that and it would just eliminate the areas where it's different square footage for the type, if it's a studio, 1 bedroom, 2 bedroom, or that kind of thing. So it's just 1,200 square feet. Whatever you fit in there, is fine. And so that's what we'd like to move forward. Our recommendation is that you find the statutory exemption for the project, and that forward a recommendation to the City Council and Mayor to adopt this code amendment to change that ADU standard from, again, only from the 1,000 to the 1,200 square feet, leave the single story 16 feet intact.
Oliver, can you go back one slide, please? Everyone take a look at this screen for a minute. You have it in your packet, but it didn't make it on this slide. Everything that you see in bold that is not underlined, which is 850, and then for studio, blah, 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 that's all being deleted. So there's no differentiation between a studio, 1 bedroom, 2+ bedroom. It's just 1,200 square feet for anything.
Thank you, Albert. Correct.
Yes.
Thank you. So we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Anyone? Nope, no one's here to speak.
I had a quick
We'll go
question.
ahead and we'll start with Commissioner Lopez.
1,200 feet is the maximum if the property can hold that much, or if the owner of the lot wants that big of a house.
That is correct.
Okay, because that's an actual house.
In
Okay.
many areas it is, and that's one of the things that if the planning commissioners recall, when the item was before you, that was a discussion. It's like, well, a lot of houses in certain neighborhoods are less than 1,000 square feet. Or certainly 1,200 square feet. And so there was a discussion as to, well, what happens when the ADU is larger than the main house? And so that's where we concluded at the 1,000 square feet.
With 1,200 being the maximum, there would be very little yard or very little surroundings.
And that's the part of the challenges with the ADU ordinance, that it also creates reduced setbacks as well, and so it does create a challenge for those properties that are smaller lot size.
And in addition, parking for your vehicle, if you don't want them to be parked out into the street.
Well, see, that's the other glitch, or I don't want to, well, that's one of the issues with the ADU ordinance or state law with ADUs. Parking is not required for ADUs. And you're also allowed to convert your garage.
What do you mean by parking is not allowed?
It's not required, I'm sorry.
It's not a requirement.
So you could put an ADU, you do not need to provide parking for it. You could take your garage and convert it into an ADU, and you don't have to replace it.
Well, I'm saying, I don't like it already. We're saying.
You probably aren't the first person in the state to have said that.
I could see you saying that up to 1,200 maximum for an ADU and get away with one particular size for whatever. That's if the property size will accommodate that. And if the owner wishes. But 1,200 square feet is more than one bedroom and so forth and so forth. So it calls for really a family moving in. And the biggest problem I see is the setback or the whatever yarding around to the next neighbor. And parking of the vehicle, whether one or two or now you have four, depending on who lives in the front and who lives in the back, and there's no requirement for that. And then that means that those cars will be parked out in the street.
All valid comments. So a detached ADU can be 3 feet from all property lines, side and rear yard.
Why can't you just do the maximum of 1,000 feet?
You can. I mean, if you want to make your recommendation to this council and say we thought about it, we still want it to be 1,000 feet. That's for you to. That's your discretion.
Okay.
There are some areas in town that do have larger lots, larger yards, and the notion was, well, are we being penalized by not being able to build that extra 200 feet when state law says that we should be?
Is anyone asking that now?
Yes.
Who? Let me know.
Well, this item is before you at the direction of the city council.
Okay. I mean, honestly, my questions were exactly the same as Commissioner Lopez. I was like, the reason for the upping of the square footage, because I remember going through this and us making sure that it was 16 feet for the height and all of those different things. And then the percentage of the home space, like that, there were like the original home and everything. I remember we had full-on discussion probably for a good 40 minutes on this.
There's no formula. You know, in the past, the ADU ordinance or regulations were, you know, you couldn't exceed 50% of the existing house.
Yes.
That's what it used to be back in the old days when I started. And you know, so in the last couple of years with the change in the state law, that was eliminated. So that's where we have that situation. We have a lot of houses that are less than 1,000 square feet.
Mm-hmm. And we're allowing an ADU to be bigger. Okay. Well, thank you.
You're welcome.
In our discussion and how we arrived at the 1,000 square foot, I do remember that we did discuss the 1,200 square foot max that the state allowed, and our thoughts were that if a person had a piece of property large enough to put 1,200 square feet on it, then they don't have to apply for the conditions that the ADU requires. So typically the ADU requires you to use this as a rental, and it does. There are some benefits to it, but I think we wanted to keep the size, keep some limitation on the size of it based upon the inventory of housing that we have in our community. So based on that, I'd have to say that I probably would not want to initiate that.
Oliver, can you remind me if our development code has any lot coverage requirements? So how much building ADU and the current housing can actually cover the actual lot of the house?
Would you help me with that, Elizabeth, please?
Yeah, it would be 50%.
50%?
Correct.
Okay, so, I mean, in a perfect world, we'd be able to do an analysis to see how many 1,200 square foot can actually be created. I don't imagine too many will, but I don't know. It's hard to predict.
Right.
Yeah, I don't know. I can go either way. I mean, the reason we have the ADU law by state is because we didn't build enough housing, and now we're in the situation we are now. So, yeah, it's definitely a tough issue.
No, I mean, we're facing what other cities are facing. It's
Well, again, I mean, the item before you is, you know, the recommendation is the 1,200 square feet per state law. If you believe that it shows that we should stay at 1,000 square feet, we could, if you were inclined to make that recommendation back to the mayor and city council, you certainly are within your limitations to do that.
But if we did, they can still go back and cite state law, right? I mean, wouldn't that?
They could always.
State law isn't the issue. They give you the boundaries within which you can set the number. So you can set it at 1,000, you can set it at 1,200. Both are fine legally. So this is a policy question, not a legal one. You can do 1,000 and keep it like that, or you can increase it up to 1,200. But if this commission decides to send a recommendation not to make this change, the council can still overrule you and pass the ordinance and say, no, we're going to do it anyway. They can do that. And the other thing to remember is, since this is a development code amendment, you need 5 affirmative yes votes to take whatever the action is.
Okay, I'm a mirror some of that, but I need clarification. So right now, if we build an ADU, it cannot be more than 50% of a house?
Of the property, not the house.
Of the property. Can you have more than
okay, that's 50%. You add the house, the existing home, and the ADU.
Oh, together they
Together
cannot cover
can.
more than 50%?
That's correct.
Okay, got that. Can somebody with a large lot have more than one ADU?
If I may, they are able to have a JADU, which is typically attached to the house, and then they can have a detached ADU.
So you
That-
can have more than one.
Yeah, so they could have, the JADU is usually, it's 500 square feet or less, and it's attached. And then they can have a detached ADU to the 1,000 square feet at this moment in time.
And then, so the city, what you're saying is we as the city, as long as we're do not pass the state requirements, we can go anything less than the state requirements.
Correct.
Okay.
But no less than 850.
No less, that, okay, okay. That's it, just trying to get clarification.
I have no questions on this.
So what is the state? It's 850 square? What
No
is-
less than
No less than
850.
850. Okay, that's it.
Okay, so
I close the public hearing.
we'll close the public hearing. No further discussion. We'll go ahead and entertain a motion.
I motion to keep it at 1,000.
What was the motion?
To keep the unit at 1,000 square feet.
I'll second that.
Yeah. We'll call for the vote.
Chair Guerrero,
Aye.
and then Vice Chair Armstead, and then Commissioner Lopez,
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez,
Yes.
Commissioner Quill, Commissioner Flores,
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis, Commissioner Morales.
Yes.
Okay, so y'all want to keep it at 1,000 feet? 1,000 square feet, excuse me. Okay.
Right,
No
no
opposed.
opposed. Chair, before we move on, Oliver, do you have what you need to make the findings and the resolution for why they're recommending denial? Or do you need them to flesh that out for you?
If you'd be so kind, the the fun part, why are we denying it?
It's a happy medium. I don't know.
I mean, can we cite safety reasons? Can we cite,
Well,
over,
As you say, since it was 850 feet, the state, we went over the state by almost the 200, and now we're talking about 1,200, which is really a whole house. And I think the parking is an issue, and I think the sit around, the yard or where people are going to be playing or and then what the neighbor alongside of that house is going to think or say. I think, if anything, that is the rationale.
Parking in the setback.
Aesthetically pleasing to the neighborhood.
Is that enough, Oliver?
I think so.
Good luck.
so
Would you, Albert, would you suggest that maybe we continue this, return with the resolution?
We can't, unless you've heard from the council that this was urgent for them.
No,
Then yeah, I mean, we could bring back the resolution and, tell them what we were to come up with for the findings.
So what we can do is, it would be a consent calendar item?
Mm-hmm.
So we would bring so you've already taken action
Right.
on, your recommendation. So so our recommendation is that we return back at the May meeting. On the consent calendar, we will have the resolution with the findings saying, I'm going to take my stab at why the commission's denying this. And then you can concur, you can suggest edits or just approve it as it was prepared, if that makes sense. And then this way, in other words, this way you see the resolution before it's finalized and transmitted to the city council. You're welcome. And then it'll allow me an opportunity to look back at the tape and kind of get some of play back some of the dialogue.
all right, so we will go ahead and move on to item number 7.
Item number 7 could be a fun one here. So, we've had a few. Item number 7 is Development Code Amendment 22-04. It involves alcohol beverage sales activities, and particularly the locational restrictions or requirements for that. So, as our code currently states, and what we're proposing to do is to amend our code to increase the locational restriction from 500 feet to 1,000 feet from sensitive uses. And so if you recall, when we normally do our analysis, we identify if there's a school, a church, a park, or other sensitive use nearby. So we're looking to increase that. And again, on this slide, it didn't translate, but, so we're changing it from 1,000 feet. This should be crossed out, the 500 bit from these particular uses here. This is how our code is. It's in our code now. We're only making this change up here from 1,000 to 1,000 feet from 500 feet, kind of thing. So there's that separation requirement. Along with that, there was an area in our code that talks about the permit application. So we've also talked about the crime statistics. So if you recall, when we have a CUP that has a ABC license attached to it, the police department has their memo that's attached, and then they also put some background. What if it's within their reporting district, or a distance from within the district, crime reporting district, and then 500 feet outside of that district, right? So now we're going to increase that from 500 to 1,000 feet, so it expands that. And then it's also expanding the distance between ABC licenses, and so now we're making that change. So that's the item that's before you. Our recommendation is that the Commission adopt Resolution 20-22-020, forwarding a recommendation to the Mayor and City Council that they find the exemption for this code amendment, and that they approve Development Code Amendment 22-04 based on the findings of facts. I'd be glad to answer any questions. Thank you.
Okay, we'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Is there anyone wishing to speak? Okay, we'll go ahead and start with Commissioner Lopez.
I don't have any questions. This is a good thing. It's about time.
No comment, thank you.
Oliver, city initiated, does that mean that came from the council? Or
yes.
Where did that come from?
From the City Council.
Okay.
This is probably an unrelated question, but could an amortization ordinance, think about facilities that are already within 500 to 1,000, and what do we do about those facilities? Will they just exist forever?
They continue to exist. This is for new applications.
Yeah. But is there anything you can do about existing?
Well, that's something that we can explore. We're doing our code amendment, and I know that our code currently has the deemed approved section that addressed existing alcohol sales. And so we haven't gotten to that point yet in what we want to do with the existing ones.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
This is a side note. The notice to tenants and owners, we notified tenants of all these things too now, right?
Yeah, that's going to the City Council this coming meeting, yes, for the second reading, yes.
No question.
I have one more question, Oliver. When you say alcohol beverage sale, this covers all the alcohol licenses, like the beer and wine and the like the convenience stores and things like that?
That is correct. If it's any of our CUPs, like what has been coming before, your convenience stores, your gas stations, if you will.
Yeah, some of those are right across the street from one another, and they're well within the 1,000 feet. So it'll bring a lot of interesting comments back.
Right.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other comments? No? Okay, we'll close the public hearing. And we'll call for, or go ahead and a motion.
I make a motion that we accept the agenda item number 7.
I second that motion.
Okay. Call for the vote.
Chair Guerrero?
Aye.
Vice Chair Armstead?
Yes.
Commissioner Lopez?
Yes.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Commissioner Quill? Yes. Commissioner Flores?
Yes.
Commissioner Lewis?
Yes.
And Commissioner Morales?
Yes.
All right, it's approved.
None opposed? Okay.
Condense your report, all 3 at the same time.
All 3? Well, we had a chance for a break early on, you know.
Okay. So
The,
we will,
if I may, items number 8 and 9 involve updates to our downtown specific plan effort and our general plan. And so, so I included the updates of where we were. We had presentations at both the advisory committee meetings. They're going well. The city council has, as I mentioned at the last meeting, they approved the vision statements. One of the things that was presented to the city council last week was the discussion about expanding the public participation program, and that item was continued to the May 4th meeting to allow the PlaceWorks with the opportunity to more thoroughly explain the vision and how we're going to expand it. So they just wanted some more information on that. I'd be glad to answer any questions if you have on the materials about both the general plan and the downtown specific plan, but they're both moving along pretty well. And they're both for receive and file. Thank you.
so we'll receive and file.
We need a motion, second, and a vote.
Motion. Okay.
I make a motion that we receive and file both agenda items number 8 and 9.
Second.
Call for the vote.
Okay, Chair Guerrero?
Aye.
Vice Chair Armstead? Commissioner Lopez?
Aye.
Commissioner Sanchez?
Yes.
Commissioner Quill? Commissioner Flores? And Commissioner Lewis?
Yes.
Commissioner Morales?
Yes.
All right.
Okay. None opposed? Planning Commission reports, announcements.
I do not have any updates. Thank you.
Okay. Okay. No.
I have one. I believe that Institute of Local Government, which is a statewide organization, will be having a planning commission training in Rialto later this year. I can forward the information to Oliver, and maybe you can circle it around, just for folks who are interested.
If the commissioners are interested, we do have training monies available if you would like to attend. We will email you that information, and then you can let us know if you'd like to attend.
And you know what, just random comment. I went with my family to, I think it was Jerry Lewis Park, and we played pickleball. So they have got really great facilities there. So just frequent your local parks. They've got some nice facilities.